Masida, that the image is blurring here. What is the problem? Maybe just to wipe the camera, your laptop camera.
Laptop camera is on, sir.
Your image is
Yeah, lights nahi hai, sir. Idhar light dalenge
because of light.
Yes, sir. Maybe.
You just check it camera. You just any tissue paper or something is there. You just.
It's like that only, sir.
Like that only.
That computer is like that only.
It is dull, na?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sir, please inform technicals. No one has come here.
Somu ji, good afternoon.
Sir.
ऐसे हैं, ठीक है?
Fine, sir.
Good. So morning we had field day with our staffs. We all missed it. We all missed and you also missed us.
Next time I will come, sir.
We will have it next year. No?
Yeah, definitely, sir, definitely.
तबीयत तो ठीक है ना अभी?
Okay.
Good. Ramana, you please make Ganapati also co-host.
Sir, I send YouTube link.
Okay.
You
Chat
may
box.
forward to whatever, whoever it may be.
Okay. Chat box में.
No, in our IIMR Gold I sent, and to your WhatsApp also I sent.
Okay, sir.
To you through WhatsApp.
Thank you. ఇక్కడ పడింది మధ్యాహ్నం కడిగాడానికి కొంచెం తక్కువ పడుతుంది ఎందుకు మనకి మా 1.3 కేజీ 1 కేజీ వచ్చింది తక్కువ పడుతుంది Dr. Prabhu. Dr. Prabhu.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
You ready?
Yes, sir. I'm in already, sir.
Another 5-10 minutes because some people are joining now.
Yeah, no worries, sir.
Another 10 minutes, okay?
Good afternoon, sir. Elangon, sir. Good afternoon.
Sir,
Good afternoon.
Mohan ji.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Very well. Good afternoon.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. I'm Kalamegal speaking.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, madam. Kaise?
बढ़िया, sir. Thank you, sir, for this training.
Yeah, welcome. And we'll be having more trainings in future.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, madam. Good afternoon.
Sir, Sudha TNAU, sir.
Okay, so you புதுசா join பண்ணீங்களா?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Welcome, madam.
सर डायरेक्टर सर ज्वाइन होना है क्या सर?
डायरेक्टर्स नहीं,
सर
अभी तक ज्वाइन नहीं किए। अभी अभी जब 70 प्लस होने के बाद मैं उसको कॉल करके बोल।
ओके सर.
Right, sir. Thank you. How many students are there?
Good afternoon, sir.
Oh, good afternoon, Guru Garu.
Namaskar, sir. Amsida, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
How are you?
Fine, sir. How are you, sir?
Oh, fine, fine. Sir, Edangon, sir, morning I have sent data, sir.
Yeah, I received it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Palana is there, Sujata, Nandini, they are joined now?
Yeah, already joined, sir. Just now they have joined.
Good.
Sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Palana, sir, good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Nandini is there and Sugandhya madam also there, na?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, madam. How many are there in the conference room?
Sir, 6.
6.
Yes, sir.
They're coming, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Another 4, 5 are coming, sir.
Okay. Technicals also there only, no?
Sir. Students and technicals.
Of course. Parashuram, you have a problem with your conference room, huh? Parashuram?
No, sir. They are there. They are there in the officer in charge room.
Okay. Now
So we are able to connect through video.
Okay.
Anyway, six students are there.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Good, sir. Patroji? Dr. Patro?
Patro, not yet joined, I think.
Not yet joined.
No, sir.
You was asked to send me link.
Sir, regarding training, sir, any material available, sir, on this aspect?
Material, the PowerPoint presentation will give.
Okay.
And you will be asked to, if you are sitting with the system, I think you will be asked to download that software.
Okay.
Maybe after downloading, you can just, you will have some hands-on demo. Okay.
Sir, last time you have told some tricks, particularly in Excel sheet now, sir.
So that
one
also
also...
I will be giving.
Okay. Once again,
once again, I am going to tell you.
Okay, sir.
Amasita, sir. Please send link to Sevanike.
Okay, sir. I'll send.
$73. Shall I call director?
Yes, sir. Sir, here total 10 are there, sir, now.
73, 74 now.
Yes, sir. गणपति सर.
यस
सर हमारे स्टूडेंट्स एंड टेक्निकल्स को आप एडमिट करने से अच्छा है कि इधर ही भेज दीजिए सर. कॉन्फ्रेंस
एडमिट करना है.
कॉन्फ्रेंस हॉल सर, ओरिजिनल बिल्डिंग कॉन्फ्रेंस हॉल में भेज दीजिए. इंस्टीट्यूट का स्टूडेंट्स एंड टेक्निकल्स को. ऑलरेडी इट इज रीचिंग 80.
या
ओके सर. ओके.
ಹಲೋ ಹೇಳ್ರಿ.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Yeah, thank you very much, sir, for joining.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, today's training program, parallel to our morning field day, and this we wanted to for all sorghum scientists who are attending. Now, because of the COVID problem, and this program is now made as online, sir. And in this program we are having lectures and demos on all the 3 days. And this is also being organized under the Azadi Ka Amrut Mahotsav celebrations. And myself, Ganapati Amasita and Venkatesh are the coordinators. And first lecturer, Dr. Prabhu is from IRA. He has done his PhD at Texas University. and he has vast experience in R and SAS analysis. And he'll be delivering lecture on data processing for better interpretation publication using SAS and R. After that, we have Dr. Balakrishnan from NAM. He'll be delivering lecture on bioinformatics in agriculture, sir. And tomorrow, we'll be having a lecture on geospatial technologies in agriculture, how to interpret spatial data with attributing data. And followed by, we are going to give a demo on how to use that Diva.js to as a tool for making data visualization. Followed by MS Excel, that is a tool for Yam Balakrishnan database or for any database. MS Excel, how we can use it, that we'll be discussing. And after that, third day, we'll be having MS Access. It's a tool to connect the Yam Balakrishnan database or any kind of database. And followed by scientific video editing. Apart from that, if time permits, we'll be also discussing the digital field book with all the participants as a demand is there from the participant. So these are the programs for all the 3 days, sir. And I request you to kindly inaugurate and say a few words to just inaugurate that training, sir. Sir.
Yeah, so good afternoon, everyone. So thanks for joining on this platform, really looking at how digitalization can make difference for data recording, then putting together your documents in a way that is really going to help you to analyze and also put it together for your paper writing and all other things. So it's not just the association that we are looking at how data should be recorded, but how it should be processed. In order to process the same, you need to have a definitive arrangement. It is not the numbers alone, but probably the associated aspects that you would be recording in a digital data book, whether it is the photographs, whether it is the traits, whether it is the visual observations. All these things make an important package that you should be having with you altogether. So in the physical process, what happens is you have a data book, set of things which people record, and again you would feed, re-enter, and before analysis again reorganize it. But the convenience with this digital data book basically is that once you record, the organization becomes very, very easy, and you avoid the process of the physical recording. And number 3 is you have everything on your fingertips. The kind of rearrangement that could be made, the focus that you want to have on each of the trait or the visual observations or the photographs, the set of things can be there with you all along. And that is what is the beauty of this particular software or the app, what you call it as. So Dr. Ilangovan and his team, they have been conducting a series of programs in the last 2 years. Thousands of people have been connected with this particular initiative. So I don't want to take more time because more and more needs to be understood with the basics and also how you can go ahead with this. So the entire idea is the process should become paperless. The process should become seamless, and what you record with your mobile should be a seamless interface with your computer. So that's how the data analysis, the treatment, and the projections would take care on their own. So you will really appreciate at the end of the day how this app is going to help you. It will simplify your process. Anybody can record, just train your technical or people who are working with you, including contractual, who knows how to record data, who can read a bit and what you call the put together into this particular app. So anybody can operate, anyone can use this application. Only thing is the basics are important, and basics, if you can really master it. The art of using it in a seamless way is using it continuously. So because unless we use, we tend to forget. What you will learn next 2-3 days, whatever it is, you think that you have understood. But if you don't really use it, then again the interface with the app is lost. So that is where utility of this application is important. It is very simple, but yet the usage of it by yourself, your people whom you are going to train, would go a long way. And so I thank you, each one of you, for joining this digital platform to understand the digital application. So I'm sure you would be benefited. And in the long run, when you start using it, you will really appreciate the process. So I thank this opportunity to connect with you. I will be online. There are several other meetings going on, but still I will be listening to what is happening there. So I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. In addition to that field book, this time we are just a bit modified, and this particular training we added this R analysis, SAS analysis. Apart from that, Bioinformatics Tools. Apart from that, we have Diva mapping, and we'll be having how to use the spatial database using that R analysis. That also we have added. So we are just modifying the digitalization platform, and more training will happen, because this 21st century is meant for data science. So data is very important. That is the reason that we are organizing and we are supporting this program. Thank you very much for joining, sir. So I think you'll be attending another meeting. So now I request Dr. Amasita to please introduce Dr. Prabhu, who will be the first lecture.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon to all. It's always it gives immense pleasure to introduce the first speaker of first day of training program, Dr. Prabhu Govindaswamy. He hails from Tamil Nadu in Karur district, and he did his undergraduate from Tamil Nadu Agricultural University, Coimbatore, and masters in the division of agronomy from US Raichur, and he did his doctorate from Texas A&M University, Texas, USA. And initially he joined ICAR as a scientist from 94 cohorts, and later he transferred to IIMR in New Delhi. At ICAR he worked for 10 years and later transferred to IIMR. And he is the recipient of 21 different awards, which includes 11 international awards and 10 national awards. And notably, Gerald O. Mott Award for a meritorious graduate student in crop science from Crop Science Society of America, and Outstanding Graduate Student Award from Department of Soil and Crop Sciences, Texas A&M University, and ICAR International Fellowship to pursue PhD program at Texas A&M University, and Best Scientific Achievement Award from ICFRI. And he is having 27 research publications on his name in peer-reviewed journals, and 13 are in international journals. And he developed 5 low-cost technologies, specifically low-cost static chamber for CO2 emission, low-cost mini rhizoctron, soil core sample collection assembly, soil core sample collection assembly with core split, and standardized best low-cost methods for water holding capacity estimation. These are the notable technologies which he has developed. And he filed 2 patents on 2 technologies, low-cost soil core collection samplers. And his research will focus on weed biology, plant-weed interaction, and artificial intelligence in weed management. So he is having vast experience in handling SAS and R softwares also. And today he is going to introduce you all to these 2 softwares to analyze data. So welcome to Dr. Prabhu Govindaswamy. Sir, now floor is yours. Please take on, sir.
Very good afternoon to all. First of all, I thank Dr. Ilangovan sir for giving this opportunity to share my experience and knowledge acquired during the process of data collection and data analysis at IGFRI, as well as during my PhD. I think my voice is audible. Yes. Okay. So let me share my screen. So my slide is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So data processing involves it's not only starting from after collection of your data. It is actually it starts from the initiation of your project or experiment. So when you start initiating your experiment or thinking of your experiment, you have to also think of data processing. So what kind of data I'm going to get out of this experiment, then how I'm going to collect those, and how I am going to analyze it, and how I am going to interpret, and how I am going to publish. So there are plenty of softwares. Some of them are open access and some of them are a paid version. For example, for statistical analysis, SAS and SPSS and CropPad and SigmaPlot are paid versions, and R and Python is entirely open access. And there are some packages you need to pay for Python, but for R, everything is free. And if you want to specifically draw some figures for publication or interpretation, so you can use SigmaPlot, which is a paid version, and CropPad also paid version. But you can depend completely on R for making graphs. I'll be explaining in my presentation how you can make some beautiful graphs in R, but it is not easy as like SigmaPlot, but it can be possible in a day. So let me proceed with my presentation. So the whatever we are dealing in the field of statistics, those techniques have been developed by some of the personalities, I would say great personalities. So for example, C.F. Gauss, who has developed a method called method of least square. So where this method can be used, like if you want to compare models, particularly like non-linear models or linear models, people use this method of least square. So it was developed by Gauss. And t-distribution. So when you have only two groups you want to compare, so you can go for t-distribution, developed by William Seeley and Gossett. And so the most common statistical method we often use called ANOVA or livelihood method, developed by R.A. Fisher. And the another common method we frequently tell correlation, and chi-square test developed by Carl Pearson. So I just want to touch upon the important personalities in the field of statistics. If you look these four persons, only two are basically from statistics. Example, so I would say the William Seeley and Gossett is basically statistician, and Carl Pearson is a biostatistician. Whereas R.A. Fisher and Gauss are not basically from statistics. They are from the R.A. Fisher from biological field, and Gauss from mathematics. Why I'm telling or emphasizing the field of the science, you see basically the statistics, the practical utility of statistics come from biological science. We all from biological science, so we should know the statistics important and how we can use it. So more often we used to hear the value called p-value. So we always talk about p-value. So I like to introduce before going into the actual analysis. So p-value, so many people say it is called a probability. So I would say it is not exactly called probability. So let me go with some example. So you know the tossing. So if you toss a coin twice, you tend to have 4 probabilities. So when you toss first time, the 50% you may get head, or another possibility is tail. When you go for another tossing second time, so you may get head followed by head, or head followed by tail, or tail followed by head, or tail followed by tail. That means you are going to get 4 possibilities. If someone is asking the probability of getting 2 heads, so that is in this example, you can say the head followed by head is only 1 times. So total number of observations are 4. It is giving 0.25. This is called mathematical probability. So when you look at the p-value, it will not give exactly that practical output. So let me go with this one. So we tend to see always p equals 0.05 or p less than 0.05. So in simple way, if you make it 100, it is called 5% or less than 5%. That means if you repeat your experiment, so when you get a p-value of 5%, when someone is repeating, there is a chance of getting varied result. So whatever result you are presenting, that result may be changed or may be different when someone is doing in different locations. That is called p-value. So p-value, this is how you have to interpret the p-value for practical reasons. When you are getting your data with the p-value is less than 5%, if someone is repeating your experiment in somewhere, so he may get different result than you at the less than 5% rate. So really p-values gives the clear-cut result. So there are some authors in 2012, they said the p-value culture is bad, and they moved to another concept called confidence intervals. So when I present in subsequent slide, I will explain what is meant by confident interval and how you can use it for interpreting your data. So as I was telling in the first slide, the data interpretation or data processing is not starting at the time of data collection. It's actually start from planning of your experiment. The planning of your experiment comprises multiple steps. The first one is formulate the idea. So you have to formulate the idea. For example, so how so you want to know the diversity difference in the different tillage system. So such how you have to formulate the idea. I want to look how wheat population diversity will vary with different tillage system. So that is my idea. So I'm going to look. Then you will fix objective. So objective, so you can study different broadleaf weeds in the different tillage practices, or you can study grassy weeds, or you can know the whether seed bank is different between 2 different tillage system. So such a way you will make some objectives and define populations. So you cannot go and collect data from 1 hectare area, because it's a very huge. It takes a lot of time and it wastes your money. So you have to define population. In general, for weed studies, we generally use as like we make a plot. Agronomists generally make like 4 by 5 meter plot. In that, we generally make some quadrate with the size of 1 meter by 1 meter. We call it a quadrate. Per plot, we generally make 3. So these 3 locations are our populations. We collect data particularly from this population, not from the whole 5 by 4 meters. The next step is formulate the hypothesis. There are 2 types of hypothesis. The first starts with null hypothesis. So according to the idea I was sharing in my previous slide, so be diversity. Here you can see in my null hypothesis would be there is no difference of bee diversity between 2 tillage system. That is my null hypothesis. So the mu here, there are 2 types of mu, and overall mean also you can see. And we generally denote this null hypothesis is H0. When move to alternate hypothesis, so here you are keeping it as at least one of the tillage system. So if I have conventional tillage system and no till system, so at least one of them have different weed population diversity. So you have 2 different hypotheses. So when you do statistical analysis, either you use a t-test or ANOVA, so you will come to reject one of them and make your conclusion. And testing hypothesis. So before testing hypothesis or before using any statistical tool, so you have to know what is meant by type 1 error and what is meant by type 2 error. I will be telling type 3 error also. So first we will see type 1 and type 2 error. So type 2 error is the null hypothesis is rejected when it is actually correct. So I want to give it's a very layman language. It's like we all are more familiar with the cricket. So when you see the DRS, in DRS system, so it shows the pitching the ball and the impact, and they will see the stump. So when umpire seeing these three images, so it's clearly might have thought that the ball is correctly hitting the stumps. He knows the ball will hit the stump. So if he know the correct answer, but he rejected that, he is not out. So it is called type 1 error. So he knows actual proof. So actually the ball is going to hit the stump, but umpire after knowing that clear-cut evidence, he said not out. So this is called type 1 error. When you move to type 2 error, so type 2 error, so he knows the ball will not going to hit the stump, but he gave out that batsman. So that is called type 2 error. So here the making type 2 error is called power of a test. So we generally calculate by 1 minus probability of a type 2 error. So in my presentation, any doubts or if I'm going wrong anywhere, please stop me and we can discuss at the same stage. So there are some of the tests to see your hypothesis. So if you have a discrete distribution data, so you generally use chi-square test, so developed by Carl Pearson. And if you have two group means, so if you want to know whether which group is best compared to another group, so you have to use for t-test. The t-test generally used for less than 2 or less than 3 group. When you have only 2 groups, so you have to use t-test. When you have more than 3 groups or 3 treatments, if you want to compare, so you have to go with f-test. It's called ANOVA, developed by R.A. Fisher. So you have to also anticipate treatment differences. So when you anticipate, you will get more data acquisition compared to without anticipating any treatment differences. For example, I would like to quote here. So when we do weed science experiment or weed management experiment, we generally keep or anticipate or include one treatment, call it a control or weed check or weed free check. So that to know, so we know in future we use this treatment to calculate weed index and weed control efficiency. If the scientist will not anticipate such a analysis, so he will not include that particularly 2 treatments. So that will make or that will mess up with your data collection. So the scientist should anticipate what will be the future. So what kind of data I'm going to present. So what kind of data I'm going to collect, how I will interpret. Such a way you have to include 1 or 2 treatments to get that clear-cut result. That is called anticipate treatment differences. So points to learn here. So I'm going to, so you all might have seen this statistical analysis section in the paper or research article. So the people generally write like they do ANOVA. So if they have multiple factors, they say whether we combined or we separated, and they will tell whether the data we presented here are normally distributed. And the treatments means are separated using LS mean, and they tell whether we did correlation or PC analysis. So like this, generally they wrote a story in this statistical analysis. So I'm going to practically explain how these things will be done using SAS or using R. So here some example people write such a way they use also. Here in this example, the person used SPSS and somewhere people used R. The power analysis, before you start data collections, the one should run this power analysis in R to know how many samples I should take in order to get accurate statistical difference or statistical result. So I will be demoing with R. My R screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
So this is R. So let me introduce briefly. This is called R Studio. So we generally call R because R is running in the background. You can see here. So R is running background of R Studio. R Studio like is a supporting software. So when you install along with R in this R Studio, so it will make easier to work in this data analysis process. So I will tell how this R Studio is useful compared to R. So when you want to start with analysis, you have to open the R script. This is called script window, and at the bottom is called console. Okay, clear the console to make it clear. And there are, this is called, there are plots. You can, when you make plots, it will be visible in this window. And there are packages. There are different packages installed in my laptop. You can see the plenty of packages. And if you have any doubt, you can go and use this help. And there are some file window. Let me start with the Pwr Analysis. So I'm going to copy this. So for running Pwr, you need to have the library called library Pwr. Okay, so I already installed. So I just bring that software to my working directory. It's called Pwr. See, I already installed. If you want to install, you go to package and install. Here you have to type the Pwr and click Pwr and just click install. So it will be installed. After installing, you have to bring that package to the working directory. That is called library. So the code for checking. So here in this equation, you can see the after installing Pwr package. So you have to use the code called pwr.anova.test. The K refers to the number of treatments you are having. So in this example, I give only 3 treatments. If you want to change this to 5, you can keep it 5. And the N, this is the N we are going to find out after this analysis. And F is called effect. So effect, for calculating the effectiveness, there are different analysis. That is a long process. For that, you need to know the mean of a maximum mean of 2 treatment and minimum mean of 2 treatment and standard deviations. When you know these things, then you can calculate your effectiveness. So 0.25 is a standard effectiveness. So you can use it 0.25 in your analysis, or if you want to increase your level, so you can go for 0.35. So but generally you can use it 0.25. And significant level is 0.05. As I was telling earlier, is 0.05 is normally for agricultural data. If you are doing any medicinal or like medical research, you have to keep it 0.01. And Pwr 0.80 is a normal range. So if you run this code, so here you can see, so if I have 5 treatments, if I have my effectiveness is 0.25 and my significance level is 0.05 and my Pwr is 0.8, so I have to collect 39 observations in order to get clear-cut statistical result. So 39 observations for 5 treatments. Generally, we keep 3 observations per treatments. That means there are 5. we generally go with only 15. So if you go with 15 observations, you may not get that clear-cut statistical result. So you have to go for 6 observations per treatment. If you go also, it comes to 30. So you have to increase up to 39 in order to get very good result. So I already explained what is meant by K. K is indicating number of groups, that is equal to number of treatments you have, and N is that is after analyzing you are going to get that result. And effect size. Effect size you can keep it 0.25 for any analysis. If you want to increase, you can go up to 0.35. So I will tell when you change, the result will change. You can see if I change 0.25 to 0.35 and 0.9. So you can see that number of observation goes down. It's only 26 because you relaxed bit with the effective size and also your power size. So if you want to get very good result, I would suggest between 0.25 to 0.35 effective size would be better, and power is 0.8 is more comfortable. So that's what I explained in this R software. So little bit theory here, you all can read it. I shared my PowerPoint with Ilangovan sir. So next, T sample test, 2 sample test, 2 sample. If you want to know the performance of India and Australia team, so you can use this 2 sample test. So there are multiple, there are several different types of T test. So I will be explaining.
Prabhu sir.
Hello.
Sir, this is Amsiddha. I am having some clarification, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, whether we have to use already available commands for our software, or is there any easy method to write the commands? Because putting comma, even dots, or even equal to, or why we are only assigning value number of treatments to K only? Any easy methods to write the commands? Or we have to get from Google search only?
No, these codes, so you have to type it as it is. There is no easy way with the R. It's not like we call inbuilt statistical software. For example, SAS also run with similar function. So in order to make it easier, they also have another software called Jump. You just type the data and click the button, you will get the result. Such a way we may not work with R as well as SAS. So in this you have to type all. So the knowledge, how you will gain knowledge with what code you are using, why you are using, why you are putting 3 here, why you are putting 0.25, is all informations are available in YouTube or with Google. So you have to type and learn it. So there is no other or easy way. So you have to learn it.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So whatever codes are I'm giving, so you can replicate easily. So that no need to change anything.
Yes, sir.
The same code you can use it, but you have to know why putting 5. So as I was explaining, this is the treatment. So okay. So for example, someone is having 5 treatment in their experiment. That's why I'm putting 5. So if you're having 12 treatment, you just type 12 here. Okay. This level is common, as I said. You can keep it as it is. And significant levels, unless you change to 0.1, you can keep it 0.1, and we generally agriculture we use 0.5. And power also you can keep it same. If you run this code, you will get a different kind of result here. You can see for 12 treatment I am getting only 23. You just change or put your value with respect to location. Otherwise, code is entirely same for any experiment.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. And the t-test generally used for 2 groups. So the first one I'm going with a simple t-test. So here, so the example I'm going to take it is like So with the Bersim, you all might be knowing, it's called Egyptian flower. We want to check the nodulation time. So whether that requires 40 days or more than 40 days. So you are checking whether the time period required for nodulation in Bersim require 40 days or it takes more than 40 days. For that, we took 20 random samples. So we collected 20 random samples and checked how many days it took. So there are data here, and there are some of the codes here. So ODS graphics on. So that is mean. So you are asking SAS to give graphical output. And there is a code called VAR, that is called variable. So what variable you are going to give? In this example, we are going to give time. And plot show HO option, it requires that you display the relevant graphs. What are the graphs you are going to get? It will be displaying. And side U, the side U will give result for upper level. So I'm asking whether it takes 40 days or more than 40 days. So when you give more than 40 days, you have to use side U. So when you want to do less than 40 days, you have to go with the side L, lower side. Okay. So I have explained everything here, and I'm going to use alpha level 0.5. So I'm just copying this data set. Go to, this is a SAS. So here the log window. So it will show if we made any error. So it will indicate in red color. And the program editor. So when you want to type the code, that is called program editor window. So just I put everything and select all. You can give Control A also. It will select everything. And there is a run button here. Click. See my log window. So there is no mistakes. That's why there is no red letter. So that means whatever code I used here. So it is perfect. So move to result window. So based on the data, so this is the data. So we have collected 20 random samples of Bersim nodule count, the number of days required. So based on this one, you can see the probability. So I was talking about the p-value. It's 0.01. So that means it is less than 0.05. The p-value I fixed in this data analysis. So based on this p-value, there is a clear-cut indication that the Bersim takes more than 40 days to form nodules. So that's why you can see the mean value is 42.6. So it took more than 40 days to form nodules. So in that scenario, you can use this kind of T analysis. So the another one. So when you want to compare the farmer's income in 1990s and farmer's income in 2020, whether there is a clear-cut difference between two income. So in that situation, so you have to use paired t-test. So here null hypothesis is the difference is 0, there is no difference, and alternate hypothesis is they are not equal. So let us check whether they're actually different or not. We just copy this code and go to program, delete the earlier one. Just run. So this is the result we are getting here. So based on this analysis, you can see the p-value. Still, it is less than 0.05. So that indicates that there is a significant difference. So how much? So you can say there is a mean of 5,666. The income in 1990 and 2020, there is a difference of 5,666 rupees. Difference between income A and income B among the farmers. So this is called a paired t-test. Then the another one is called independent two sample test. So here there will be two groups. So whether for example, in this example, I'm using also similarly similar data, it's like Bersim data. So there are two varieties. One is called Vardhan, another one is called BB2. So whether these two varieties height is entirely different or not. So in order to check the mean of two groups, so we use analysis called independent two sample t-test. So here I would like to explain here the data indicating the name of the data. So you can give any name. So in this data, I give the name called t-test. The next is input. So input here is a variety. The variety I typed in the below like Vardhan and BB2. So because I used word, that's why I'm giving like what do you call a dollar symbol. So if you are giving only numbers, no need to give dollar symbol here. And height, the height variable in this vertically. And cards, you can use cards if you are typing or pasting data below. So you can use also data line, and some people use command to link the data. So in this example, we are using pasting data. That's why we are using cards. And proc means we use for t-test. So the variety class variable run, and this is the code for t-test. Let us run this code. So here it's a little bit different. If you want to interpret, it's not like a paired t-test or simple t-test. The independent two sample test a little bit tricky. So here they check the equality. So equality is another test. So I will explaining in the subsequent slides. The equality. So the equality has null and alternate hypothesis. The null hypothesis called the data is equal, and alternate hypothesis data is not equal. So based on this analysis, you can see the pooled p-value. It's 0.10. It is indicating that the equality of this data is normal. So when your equality is normal, so you have to use the p-value of pooled method. When your equality is not equal or unequal, so you have to use the p-value of Satterthwaite. Okay. So based on this p-values, we are going to use the p-value of pooled analysis. So if you see here, so there is a clear-cut difference between the variety BB2 and Vardhan. So the mean also indicating that the BB2 is taller than Vardhan. So like this way, so you can use two sample independent tests to check the difference between two groups. And when you have more than two groups, like if you want to compare the performance of football teams across the world, there are plenty of teams. So when you have more than two teams, so you can use this ANOVA, so analysis of variance test. So before performing ANOVA, there are four criteria or four assumptions the data should fulfill. One is called no interaction. So whenever you frame your study, it should not be automatically have interactions. It is not the interaction what we talk, the interaction between soil depth and the plant the treatment. This is something interaction like whenever you formulate your lay out your plots, it should not be naturally having interactions. It should not be additive in nature. Okay, the first assumption. The second assumption is errors are normally distributed. It should be follow bell shape. The slightly away from bell shape also okay, but it should be very close enough to bell shape. So I will tell if whether the data is rightly aligned or leftly aligned in the subsequent slides. The third one, homogeneity of variance. This criteria I was telling equality. This other way it's called homogeneity of variance. That whatever data you collected from multiple locations, they should be homogeneous. If they are heterogeneous, you should not go for combined analysis. In that situation, you have to go for separate analysis. So in this picture, you can see the data should be homogeneous. If it is not following that homogeneous nature, so you have to go for separate analysis. And experimental errors are independent. So if you have like 3 groups of experimental units, the one unit does not create any error to the another unit. So okay, so that should not be like interactive errors. So always it's a randomized errors. So these 4 assumptions are important. However, we generally use for data analysis, like whether data is normally distributed or data is homogeneous, are called equality. So you have to check these 2 data before going for any statistical analysis. So normality test. When your data is skewed right side, it's called rightly skewed distribution. When your data is leftly skewed, it's called left skewed distribution. In these B and C situations, so we can go for transformations, whether square root transformation or log transformation. When you reanalyze that square root or log transform distribution, sometimes it may not come very close to symmetric distributions. Though there is the only option we have, so you have to do it square root transformation when the data is not followed the normal distributions. There are tests called Pwr univariate analysis in SAS. So people use commonly before analyzing this test. Let the null and alternate hypothesis. Null hypothesis is data is normally distributed, and alternate hypothesis is data is not normally distributed. When you run this data, so you are going to get a test of normality. It's called Shapiro-Wilk test. So you can see here. So this is the test will tell you whether the data we put in this analysis, whether normal or not. So when the p-value is less than 0.05, what it indicates, you are just simply rejecting your null hypothesis and accepting your alternate hypothesis. That means your data is not normal, either rightly skewed or leftly skewed. The another way statistician use this W. You see the W value. When this W value is close enough to 90, 0.90 or 0.95 or 99, that means your data is normal. So in this also 0.86, that is also indicating that the data we are putting here are not normal. So these 2 ways you can interpret whether your data is normal or not. So just I will show it in the SAS. So just type here. So here a Pwr univariate normal, my data name is normal I give. The variable I'm going to test is organic carbon, and run, and ODS RDF close. So some people likes to get result in the Word file. So if you want to get the result output in the Word file, you can use this code. It's called ODS RDF file equal to hana.rdf, and you have to run ODS RDF close and run. Okay, just Control A and click run. So my results are coming in the output Word file. So you can see so whatever analysis I easily got in the Word file. So you can store it for like before presentation or your publication point of view. So the based on this output, you can see the Shapiro-Wilk test. The p-value is 0.01 and W is 0.69. That indicates that the whatever data we analyzed just now, it is non-normal, because it is just rejecting your null hypothesis and accepting your alternate hypothesis. Another way you can see normality of your data is called box plot. In this box plot, so you have to on your graphical, that is ODS output SG plot, and the command you are using here is proc SG plot, and my data is normal, and V box. So the box we are going to make for organic carbon. That's what we written here, and just Control A and run. So you will be getting this type of a box plot. This box plot also indicating that there are 5 lines. You can see here. There are 5 dots that is just away from your normal data. That indicates that there are outliers. These outliers are making your data non-normal. So this box plot also indicating as like the value above here. So this Safiroville test also indicating, as well as box plot also indicating the data is not normal. Then another one method called QQ plot. So in this QQ plot, this is the X and Y axis. These are the data. So there will be like middle line. So I will show in the next slide. So there will be line, statistical line we call it. So that you see the data just away from this midline. That is indicating also the data we are going to type is not normal. So this is another way you can interpret. It's called quantile plot in SAS. So I will demo this also. So here you have to use a proc univariate and data name and QQ plot for organic carbon, and just run. Yeah, that will look like this one, but I don't know why the code is not running here. Let me check. Yeah, let's see later on. And you can also check this QQ plot in R. So you can see R would give like a beautiful graph compared to SAS. SAS is a statistical analysis package. It will not give like very good figures like R. So the very simple here. R. So for that, you have to import the data. So there are plenty of options. You can go for a base text and reader text or Excel or SPSS format. So I have in Excel format. So the data, I want to check the normality. So I bring to my data frame. So here there is option called seat. So if you have multiple data in multiple seats, you can select the particular seat and go for import. So your data has been imported. Your data name is called normal test. So you can change that name because that name is bigger size. You can go to simply type R equal to normality test. That means our actual file name is normality test. You just want to simplify this bigger title into smaller title. That's what I'm giving here, instructing R to make a simple file name. So R equal to normality test. Just run. Is now the file name is R instead of You can see, just typing R, I'm getting the result of table. So if you go to there are option called creating QQ plot. It's called QNorm. So my file name is R. You just click file. In that file, so you will be having 4 tabs. The first tab name is called main. The second tab name is called sub, and replication and organic carbon. You can see here. The tab mine is, if you want to give only organic carbon, you just type star after your file name. So it gives organic carbon. You can see here. So just you can click and run it. So no need to type that entire name. So I typed already here. You just run. So you can see here. So very good graph. So this is as like SAS, so only giving the dots. So if you want to make the line, so you have to run another code called QQ line. So you see the line. So it is also clearly indicating that your data is far away from your statistical line. So that indicates the data is not normal. So like this, there are plenty of options are available to check a normality of your data collected from the field. So either you can use a Pwr test in SAS or R, and you can use box plot to see, and QQ plot also. So another option in R and SAS. The next analysis called equality. When you have multiple location trial, in this you can see a company has 2 factories in Delhi and Mumbai. So they are having the similar kind of factory, but one at Delhi and one at Mumbai. They want to check the workers' satisfaction level. So if you want to check that kind of data, so you want to qualify the data is equal. So if it fails to qualify, you cannot combine those data and tell that the factories, maybe biscuit factories or Horlicks factory, a biscuit factory, laborers are happy. You cannot tell like combining those 2 factories. So in that, if the data fails the equality, so you can tell like that the workers in Delhi are happy, our workers at Mumbai are happy. So in that situation, you are just separating the data into like a separate analysis. So here null hypothesis is variance are equal, and alternate hypothesis variance are not equal. So this is a SAS code. So here the file as like if you want to get the result in Word, I typed here, and proc GLM package we used, and data name is called homogeneity, and there are 2 class variables, treatment and replication, and my model is organic carbon with X variable of treatment. So I am checking like the mean of treatment with the Pwr test. So something error with my SAS. I will close and open. Okay, we got the result here. You can see the p-value. This is a p-value. It's a 0.83. It's just bigger than your 0.05. It's indicating that the data collected from 2 different locations are equal. That means you can either combine or separate this data. So this is called equality test. We generally call Pwr test. So here I already put here, so p-value is 0.83. So when your p-value is bigger than 0.05, you just accepting your null hypothesis that the data is equal. So there are lot of issues with combined analysis and separate analysis. People, so whenever I do review in Indian papers, people used to combine data by saying I combined 3 years data into single year or pooled data. That is wrong. So you have to give some clear-cut reason why you did combined analysis or why you did not do separate analysis. There are different criteria to decide whether you have to do combined analysis or separate analysis. I'll be telling how we can go for combined and separate analysis. You can see here, this is my data, which has the treatment variable and replication and year variable and depth variable, and my Y variable is total carbon. So I'm going to use package called ProClimix. So the class variable I already told, and the model I'm going to run is a total carbon with the treatment. So I will be demoing later. So you can see this is the output type 3 test. So I was telling in the second slide or third slide, there are 2 types of errors, type 1 and type 2. In SAS, we generally use type 3 error. I will be telling what is the meaning of type 3 error. So here you can see the individual variables, the factors, treatment, year, their interaction, depth, their interaction, and year into depth interaction, their p-values. So based on p-value, we will be deciding whether we are going to combine or whether we are going to separately do analysis. Let me run this data. So I got the result. So when you run this ANOVA, you have to go to the top. So you have to check whether your response variable is TZ. Yes, our response variable is TZ. And you can see the other details like number of treatments you have. There are 2 treatments, CT and NT. And replication, there are 3 replications. There are 3 years. And depth, there are 3 depths. That means your data is perfectly run here. Go down. This was, I was telling, like type 3 test. So you have to check always type 3 test. So based on this output, so that there is a significant difference between treatments. So for that, you have to go for next slide. You can see the p-value is perfect. It is statistically significant. So you will be getting the mean separation output like this. The CT and NT, there will be the NT had higher total carbon compared to CT. This is the first output for the treatment. When you go to next step 2, so we are focusing on year. The year also significantly different based on this p-value. The output also you can see. See, there is a clear-cut difference between 2018, 17, and 16 is smaller, whereas there is no much difference between 2018 and 17. However, there is a difference between 2016 versus 2017 and 2016 versus 2018. This is the result for the second one. So when you talk about treatment into year interaction, you can see the p-value is bigger than 0.05. In that situation, so there is no statistical difference. So there is no point to discuss whether there is an effect of interaction between treatment and year, because it's statistically insignificant. So in that situation, no need to talk about that particular. That's what I put here, the bigger red outline. So there is no need of talking, but software would give your mean separation values. You can see here. So softwares will calculate the difference, but it is our duty is to check the type 3 test box. Based on this box, you can see there is no difference between treatment into year interaction. So there is no point to discuss in this factor, and move to another one. Depth. there are 3 depths, so it shows statistically different. So you have to explain like depth 1 and depth 2, depth 3. Based on result, the depth 1 is superior than depth 2 and depth 3. And go to treatment in depth. It's not like treatment into year. So treatment into depth has significant difference. So the SAS actually gives like this. So it will give vertically your result. So you have to arrange like that. CT, depth 1 and depth 2, depth 3. So you will getting result like continuous code. So based on this table, you can conclude that NT system is superior in terms of total carbon compared to CT. But we don't know, so whether the depth 1 here and depth 1 here different or not. So for that reason, so people usually do separate analysis. They will not do combined analysis. They go for separate analysis. I will show in the next slide. You can see here. So I want to know depth wise whether there is a difference between treatments or not. This is called separate analysis because the p-value is smaller than 0.5. So though I'm going for separate analysis. Based on this, you can see this table, depth 1, CT and NT. There is a clear-cut difference because your p-value is smaller than 0.05. So based on this result, we can easily conclude that your NT system is superior in terms of total carbon compared to conventional delay system. Similarly, depth 2 also, your NT is superior than CT. If you come to depth 3, there is no difference between CT and NT. So this is called separate analysis. The previous, you may get a result, but it will not give clear-cut picture like this one. So here you will easily get what is the significant difference in the depth 1 total carbon and depth 2 total carbon and depth 3. So likewise, you have to go for combined analysis and separate analysis based on p-value. So year into depth interaction and treatment into year into depth interaction, there is no significant difference. So we are not going to do any kind of analysis. You just simply write there is no significant difference when we check the year into depth interaction and treatment into year into depth interaction. So no point of presenting in the paper or discussing in the paper is not useful. The type 3 error. So here earlier I was telling like the DRS system. So here you can see. So here also you can use the DRS system. So how you can explain this type 3 error. So this is actually a perfect one. So people say if you are making type 3 error are not considered serious, as they do mean you arrive at the correct decision because you are rejecting your null hypothesis for the wrong reason. Okay. So I also explained type 1 and type 2 error here. So type 1 error is incorrectly rejecting the null hypothesis, whereas type 2 is not rejecting when the null hypothesis should be rejected. So whereas type 3 error, the rejecting null hypothesis for the wrong reason. So the wrong reason only, so you are rejecting your null hypothesis. That's why SAS, you have to use type 3 error box compared to type 1 and type 2 error box. And in in recent times, people say like mixed model and regular model. There are two types of model. So in mixed model, there are two variables. That's one is called a fixed variable, another one is called a random variable. So I'll be telling what is meant by fixed variable and what is meant by regular variable. There are two different packages are available in SAS. There are three types of package. It's called one is called ProgGLM. There's the first package that developed in SAS, then followed by ProgClimix, and simultaneously they also developed ProgMixed. ProgClimix and ProgMixed are more advanced compared to ProgGLM, and these two are better too. And if you see here their output, when I go for regular models, you can see I included replications. Although I should not, so I'm not interested on the impact of rep. So, but we generally include rep for analysis. So that is called regular model. In traditionally, we introduce rep and go for analysis. That's called regular model. In modern times, people will not include a rep. They keep it as a random variable. So I'll be showing in the next slides. So let us run this one. The same data we are using, TC data. Just remove this one and type here. So here I included rep and treatment, year, depth, and the method I'm going to get the error degrees of freedom. So you see, so I used the code called this one and the depth. So it is indicated in older time we use like treatment star depth, so like that. So no need to type like a long sentence. You just simplified and make this simple, so it will make it your individual effect result as well as a combined result effect. That's why we are using that simple. And ls mean I'm having treatment year, so I want to see, and pdiff line. So in clinics we will not use like a mean statement like proc glm. Just run this one. So you will be getting this outbox, and when you run this code, you will be getting this one. So you can see there is a drastic change in the F values when you go for mixed models and when you go for regular models. And you also see the reduction in the P values. So that is how the mixed model would give better result compared to your regular models. So people, you may have questions, what is meant by fixed factor, what is meant by random factor. So you can see there is a study. So the scientist conducted study on wine. There are 4 types of wine. See, he wants to know the color of the wine. There is a difference between 4 different wines. So the fixed levels we interested is what is the color difference between wine 1 and wine 2 and wine 3 and wine 4. So that is our interested factor. That's why it's called fixed levels. But when you take that observations, there are different judges who did observations. So for wine 1, the judge 1 might have given a lower number compared to judge 9. So in that variability, when you account, that is called random level. So when you include this random level, you will get some different result compared to your only going with fixed levels. That's why the mixed models are more powerful compared to your regular models. The another analysis called covariate analysis. The covariate analysis is another method to bring your CV value and your error degrees of freedom and MSC to the lower level. So in that analysis, you include like so you're focusing on yield. There may be issue with your plant stand. So when you observe your yield data, you are also observing what is the number of plants per row or per meter. That is the data you are going to use it as a covariate analysis. So I will tell here. You see here, when you run without covariates and with covariates, you can see I introduced the weight of the plant. So although this is a y variable, I included in the class variable here. You can see. So there are 2 variables we use here. Class variables are like continuous, like treatment, replication. We use class variable, and LAI is a model. You can use it a y variable. So similar kind of y variable we used here in this model. So that is called covariate analysis. When you introduce a similar kind of y variable in your analysis, that is called covariate analysis, you can see the drastic change in the CV. Here is a 15.46 and here you are seeing 13.10. and your root MSE value is 0.26 and 0.22, and LAI mean is 1. That will not change. So you will be giving bigger improvement in the CV and root MSE. So using covariate analysis always gives perfect result. The mean separations, there are plenty of ways to see mean separations. The mean separation, I'm referring this A and B, the alphabetical letters. So we use different packages to find out. When you talk about proclimics, so we use LS mean, the treatment B deep line. So when you use this one, so you will be getting A and B. And when you use proc mixed, so you will be using LS mean, and you have to use P deep CL. So I was talking in the second slide. It's called what do you call confidence interval. You can see how we can use confidence interval to interpret. See here, the lower and upper, there will be two confidence interval level, lower confidence interval and upper confidence interval. When your intervals 0 falls between, so for example, minus 1.0 and plus 1.0. That means there is a 0 falling between these two values, because the minus 1 and plus 1, there must be 0 between two values. That indicates there is a not significant difference between treatment. However, in this example, you can see the values are ending with minus 4, it's lower, and upper is 0.009. There is no 0 in this value. That indicates the data is statistically significant. So this is how you can use your the CL values to interpret instead of P value. When you use proc GLM package, so you have to get means function in order to get your LSD value or two key values or any other mean separations. But problem with the proc GLM package, you may not get the mean separation data for interaction effect. So for that, you have to go for proclimics or proc mixed model. And this is a mean and standard error. Whenever you present data in any research article, so you have to give standard error of mean, and you have to give alpha. So in order to get that mean value, so you can go for the code that I'm giving here. Proc short. Let me go to SAS. So this is the same data, TC data. So here you have to short. So because our focus to get the mean and standard error for the treatment. So here there are 3 more variables, year variable and depth variable. So our focus is treatment variable. That's why so we are giving proc short at my data name, and we are giving by treatment wise I want, not year wise. So I want only treatment wise, and you have to give the run command. And go next code is proc means. So I want mean and number, how many, and standard error I want, and my data is data mix. The variable I'm looking TC, and by treatment. So here in short command we typed treatment. So you have to type here also treatment. Control A. So you can see. So I got the result. CT, the mean value is 8.81. The number of observations are 27, and standard error is 0.30, and mean for NT is 10.91 and 27 numbers, and standard error is 0.53. So that's what I presented here. So you can present in papers like this. You can see here 9.6, 8.15, and you can give the standard errors. To the correlations, though another statistical method which commonly used called correlation. So correlation, I generally prefer R, not go with SAS, because SAS gives only the values, not the perfect figures. So we use in this example R for better figure quality. Yes, correlation. Package code. So I'm importing the data. So there are X variable, my X variable is the treatment. There are multiple treatments. My Y variable is the bulk density, water content, penetration resistance, and maximum width diameter. So we pull the data here. The correlations, so our data, so as earlier I was telling, so you have to convert your bigger name to smaller name. So I want to keep it R, and my data is a correlation actual name. Just convert this to R. So now your data name is R. The package called core, and your data name is R. So there are variables 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 variables, but we want correlation for 2 to 5. So that's why. So here 2 to 5. Just run. So you got the correlation coefficient for 4 Y variables. Here also you simplify the name. So for further easy processing, that's why I gave the name called M. So otherwise you have to type all the time. Core R2:5. So to make it simple, we make it M in front of the code. So there are packages you need to install for getting figure. That's called core plot. So I already installed. So just pulling it for my work. Core plot. It is there. Okay. So already we got the model M, and this is the code for getting quality figure, correlation figure, the name of that particular figure, and which size the figure I want, the height, and units are in inches, and resolution I want 600 dpi. And the core plot I used already here, and you have to give the file name already. And method I want to get is number. Okay, so when we run, you can see. Go to my computer. Document. See, you will be getting like this numbers. So without star and anything, only you will be getting the correlation coefficient value. The correlation coefficient for PD and DD 1, it's usual, and you are getting minus 0.11 and 0.33 like this. But it may not be useful to present. You need some another method. So there are different methods in this core plot. So if you want to present number, you can type number. So if you don't want number, you just click circle here and same code. And just click run. Figure might be. You can see, so you will be getting very good presentable form. So based on the color, you can explain whether they are positively correlated or negatively correlated. The red color is indicating the negative side and blue color is indicating the positive sides. So based on the color variations, you can clearly explain. So some people wants to know the significance. So for that, another code you have to use. You see here for stars. For that, you need a package called psych. So I already installed. That's what I'm searching. Psych, yeah, this here. Just type here. So I already installed. I brought to library and file name. You see the Yam. I type here. You have to remember, right? And stars. If you want stars, you can give T. Otherwise, no, you can type N. But we want true. This means T. You just go and run. You can see here. So it will give the coefficient with the star. So that's indicating that the relationship between bulk density and NMWD is significant, but in the negatively correlated. So like this, you can get the beautiful graphs. Next, go to principal component analysis. So principal component analysis we generally use when you have multiple variables, when you have like lot of variables, more than 3, more than 5, or more than 10, or more than 15. So such variables you can use principal component analysis. So we will see in this R package. So these many packages you need to load before running. I think I have already here. PC analysis. Yeah. So see, so these many packages I already installed. Just I'm going to bring to library. So I brought everything. So for that you need data. Just import from Excel. PC Excel. I think here I have like more than 21 variables. You can see all related to soil, pH, electrical conductivity, soil organic carbon, phosphorus, sulfur, CEC, like all soil parameters I typed here. And I need only the first seed. That's what I'm typing, first seed. And go to import. So I imported my data here. And next step is as usual, you have to change the name. PCA underscore analysis is a little bigger. So make it simple. I typed h.pca. Just click. Now your file data file name is h.pca. Then you have to type h.pca. Then this is a package name called Pwr and PCA analysis. Now you can change the h.pca. h.pca. So there are 23 variables I have. So that's why 2 to 23. So I don't want the first variable. First variable is a treatment. So we don't want that one. That's why 2 to 23 variables we are using it. And center true and scale true is the important function in order to get the result for PCA. That's why you have to keep it true. Just run this one. Now your PCA code is okay. So you, first step, you want to get the eigenvalue. So you will be getting the scree plot like this. So it will show the dimension 1 and dimension 2, so on. So what is the level of variability it is explaining? So it's the first one is explaining more than 60%. The second is around 15%. We generally go like 90% explanation. So we make dimension 1, dimension 2, dimension 2, and dimension 3 graphs. I will tell so how many dimension you have to present. And if you want to get the eigenvalue in terms of number, you can see. So it's a 64, the first dimension. The second dimension, if you add it, it gives 80. Then third, it will give 90. So one should go up to 90% variability explanation. So such way, you have to make 2 different graphs for presentation or pie plot. So let's make the pie plot. The h.pca is our file name, and dip is the package. And here I said already what is the width I want, what is the height I want, what is the resolution I want, and compression, and just run the. So it might have came here. So you can see here, there's a lot of arrows. So how we can explain is generally for PCA pie plot, the dimension should be more than 40. If less than 40, so you should not use the pie plot to explain your variability. So here we got 64.9%. So it is good to use the pie plot for explaining these variables. There are different arrows. You could see the size of the arrows varies. When the variable has larger, lengthier arrows, it indicates those variables are highly important compared to shorter arrows. When you see the arrows are very close each other, that means those variables are correlated best compared to away arrows. And there are treatments we kept. It's in the slide I explained good. The same graph you can see here. There are six systems. The first one is a control, the another one is RDF, and third is FIM 80 tons and FIM 40 tons, and fifth one is INM and FIM 20 tons. If you see this one, the 4 treatment is best compared to the other treatments, because all the arrows are very close enough to the 4 treatments. If you see the 1, it's all the arrows are away from the number 1 treatment, as well as 2, and as well as 3, and as well as 6, and as well as 5. The 4 is the best among the 6 treatments. If you want to go further explanations, for example, individual factor you can explain. For example, KF and KL are very close to treatment number 5, whereas the NH4 chlorine and soil organic carbon is a little bit close to treatment 3. So like this, you can explain this PCA plot to explain all 23 variables whenever you are presenting in your paper. Linear models, it is easier. Easily you can make these linear models in R. These are the codes. So a linear model, we use a code called target variable and predictor variable and data. This is how you have to feed the code in R. Import the data. So here is a plant height and biomass, the 2 variables I want to regret. It's called linear regression. My data is here. The code I'm using here, LM3, and LM is a package, and I want to know the biomass relationship with plan height, and my data is R. So first I have to change the linear regression to R. So I'm changing here. Now my data table name is R. The two types when you want to, so you can go with the two types, whether you can give data name at the end, or if you type directly or dollar biomass, both way it would works. And just go for summary. So you are getting result here. So this is called intercept. When the intercept and slope, this is 9.743. So I explained here, when you plot in your equation, so your equation will be y equal to a plus bx. Sorry. So if you plot your intercept and slope and x, you will be getting 487 grams. So for example, in our data, so if you want to know that there is no height of 50. So if you want to know what if the plan height is 50, what would be your biomass? You just change the value here into 50. So you are getting 487. When the plan height is 50, so I'll be getting biomass of 487. So like that way, you can use this linear regression to predict the values in your experiment. The next one is before running this, your linear model. So there are different packages or different steps to know whether your data is perfect or not, like normality and equality. In regression also, linear models also, you can go for different plots to see whether they are good or not. The one is called residual plot. Here you can see the data what we presented here is perfect because it is not following any trend. If the trend going like a U shape or V shape, then your data is, your residuals are not normal. So such that you have to transform the data. So our data is normal based on this one. The code I have given here, you can use to get. And another one is called cook distance. Cook distance will tell. You can see the data here. The data we plotted, they're following, some data are following some trends. There are 3 values just away from your other data. That indicates that these 3 values are outliers. So when you perform your linear regression, you have to look these values, whether these values giving any noise or not. So these 3 aspects you have to look before going for regression analysis. Then data visualizations. So people generally use Excel sheet to make a bar graph and box plot and line graph. So how we can make these 3 graphs in R? I will tell. So there are a lot of different ways you can bring your data into worksheet. So you can make an Excel sheet, or you can make a CSV file, and you can use code to bring your data. So this is the another way. So we are using data frame. Just run. So now you have developed the data called herbicide. So herbicide, there are herbicide A, B, C, D, E. There are 5 different herbicides. The injury level also I put 13%, 43%, 55%, 60%, and 10%. And their standard error. So we have standard error of 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 1. So my data name is DF. So for getting a very good graph, you need to have a library called ggplot2. I think I already have it in my, so it's in library. So you can also run library here. So you need to use a ggplot function and your data name here, and geom bar. It's another option. So it will create your X and Y axis. That's why you're using aesthetic. Your aesthetic is X is herbicide name and Y equal to injury, and state is identity, and my fill should be orange in color, and my error bar, they're also aesthetic, and X is herbicide, and Y minimum is injury minus standard error. So there is a value of, and Y there are some other codes, and instead of orange, you make it white here.
Dr. Prabhu, you have a question there from the audience.
Yes, sir.
Harpreet Kaur.
Sir, do we have to type all these things like you had pasted this thing, na? Herbicide, Y injury, stat, identity, fill, orange. All these things we have to write while doing our analysis.
Yeah, the R is a little bit tougher. So you need to know all these codes. You have to type manually. And suppose I type here, so you can use same code for your analysis.
And like in the previous one, you have used LM. It is same for every
LM function.
LM function that we have to use like that only, na?
Yeah, you can copy my code and just you change the data name. Data name sometime you miss. For example, I will show my PowerPoint. Wait a minute.
And for all these things, we need the replicated data. We can take the mean values also.
No. So for example, PCA, you need to use mean data.
And for this regression and
you have to use replication data also.
Replication data.
Yeah, you can use it.
Then how we will be adding here? You have, I think, used the mean data, I think, for the plant height and biomass.
Wait a minute, I am checking.
One values were there, na?
You can use replicated data for regression analysis. No issue.
Then the code would change.
No, it will not change.
It will not.
Code will be same. Yeah.
Okay.
So for regression analysis, the minimum we require 6 observations. If you have 6 observations, you can go for regression. There will be 2 variables with 6 observation you can go. So for example, if you have 6 treatment, there will be 3 points, 3 replications. The line will be plotted wherever it's regressing. So you can use replicated data for regression. Whereas PCA, you should use only mean data. I'm clear?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. So you can use whatever codes I'm giving in this PowerPoint. So the same code, just you have to focus, you have to be very careful with the data. Sometimes your file name is different. You see, so my file name is I given DF here. So when you have file name of different, so you need to change here. You see here DF I typed. You have to change it. Other things you can keep it as it is. And if you have X variable instead of herbicide, you have insecticide, you just change here, replace with insecticide. And if you have different, maybe like number of insect, you have to change this into that focus. You should be there. So why I'm changing, why I'm keeping this one, why I'm keeping this one. So one or 2 times, if you read it, you can clearly understand. So I'm playing with the colors. You see the color difference. I used to fill. So earlier it was orange. Now I'm using white. In the fill function, I change it to white. Other things are almost same. There is no difference between the above and below. So you can play around this with size. So if you want size 2, so I typed size 2, you can change to size 5. You see the change. You see the error bar size become very bigger. You use the same code and play around, you come to know why the code is there. But it will be a little bit headache. So I spend like a lot of time to organize these codes. And it's very difficult to explain each and every one also. It's very, very hard. Anyhow, so you have to change. Okay. And you see the another option to change the point. So the error bar doesn't have a point. So if you want the particular point, you can use option this code. You see, now the pointer is coming here. Earlier there was no point. So for that, you have to use, let me check. You see the geom point I added here. The earlier that code was not there. You see the previous one, there was no code for geom point. So here I'm using geom point.
Hello. Hello. Unable to hear, please.
Prabhu sir, we can't hear your voice, sir. Hello.
Sir, please unmute, sir. Prabhu. Dr. Prabhu, please unmute. Dr. Prabhu, please unmute. Hello.
Okay, now it's okay.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that is how you can change your, so I will explain here what types of code I'm using. You see the, for creating GG plot, so your file name, and this is your option for bar. So whatever bar are rising, so you have to use aesthetics. My X is herbicide and Y is injury level. That's what I use this code. And stat is identity. That's like a common word you have. Error bar. Wait a minute. Yeah. So next geom error bar is for error bar. So I'm talking about whatever properties the linked with error bar. So next is aesthetics. The X is herbicide and Y minimum is injury plus standard error, because the standard error having the minus and plus and what you call they generally we call it a plus or minus. It includes minus value as well as plus value. That's why we are using here Y minimum is injury minus standard error, Y maximum is injury plus standard error. And the size of the error bar is width 0.4 and size, that's 2.3. It's a length, it's called 2.3, and color we are using steel blue. That's why we are using this code. And if you want to change some different color, so I used to pill instead of orange, I change it to white. White, and remaining things are same. And size, here the size instead of 2.3 I used 2. And like that you can play around everything and you can make a very good graph for bar graph. Next, move to box plot. So earlier I typed the data. Here I am bringing the data through Excel. You see the box plot I have typed in the Excel sheet. there are values. There are 4 different types of soil type and their water holding capacity. And just import here. Data is imported. So I'm going to use the code here. Here the box plot is very simpler than the bar graph. Bar graph has some complicated. You have to make bars X and Y, and you have to make a standard error, whereas box plot is very simple. And the data I uploaded is box plot, and remove this chapter 11. That is the name of the data table. So here my data table is box underscore plot, and my Y lab is water holding capacity, and X lab is soil type. Just run this one. You see the black and white box plot is coming out, and people may not like black and white, and people may want some colorful figures. So there is a code for that. The same thing, nothing is changed. So I'm changing the name of the table, box underscore plot, and other things are same. Water holding capacity, X lab, and notch. So notch, I will tell what is a notch where once graph comes, I will show. And variable width is false, and color is there are 4 variables. The color I want green for first, and yellow for second, and purple for third, and blue for last. You can see the color variations. If you want notch mean, you can see that shape. You give true, and variable width you give true. That box plots look entirely different. You can see the notching. Notching mean there will be cut. See, it's look like this. And further, if you want to design border and other thing, you see here, if you want what is the color of the border, so you may want like a border of the box, maybe brown and other thing. So you can give name here, the border I want here. And I introduced another code called frame.plot. Hello?
So what this notch signifies here?
What?
Notch signifying here in the box plot. What is it is signifying?
Oh, you don't, that gives some what you call alert message, but that will not make any sense. Don't worry. Until you are getting the figure, it's fine.
Now this
you are talking about the red letter.
So where we can utilize these box plots, like you have clay and water holding capacity. You had how many samples you have for the clay means?
Oh, okay, your doubt about the data table.
Yeah.
Okay, so you asked about the replications. Okay.
Okay, these are
generally
the
for bar graph we use mean value.
Okay.
Whereas box plot we have to use without mean value. You have to type all the replications. In this data I have 6 replications.
Okay.
Okay, if you want to get the box plot, you have to use all the replication data. You cannot mean and make box plot. Because box plot has, I will explain the basic feature of box plot, then you come to know. You see this is called a median. Okay, this is called lower quantile and upper quantile. So whatever data you are plotting, it will fall in these 3 categories. So it covers. There are some data outline, that's called outliers. So for getting this like lower quantile, upper quantile, and median, you need to give all the replication data. So mean data would not work for box plot. Okay. Let me explain this one. So some people like the border. So they don't prefer, they like to remove that border, only they want to keep X and Y border. So for that, you need to use this code. If we type true, so let me go with false. I don't want border. You can see there is no border on the upper side and the right side. So only lower side and left side you have border. So that gives another dimension when you present data in any conference or any publication, you can give such data. So you see, I was talking about the brown color, the borders are now brown. If you want to change the border color into black, you just black.
Dr. Prabhu, can you take another 5 minutes? Other speaker is ready.
Dr. Prabhu, I have a question. Hello. Hello.
Yes, there's some problem is there. Dr. Prabhu? Dr. Prabhu? Dr. Prabhu, can you take another 5 minutes too?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, it's the last slide, sir.
Okay. Next speaker, Dr. Balakrishnan is waiting. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Last slide. The next is line graph. We generally more frequently use this line graph for weather parameters. So let me include that one first. Import. Where is that data? Okay, it's in the data. So here we have a month and temperature. So we are going to make a graph. So I want to change that lengthy name into smaller name, line equal to the data visualization. Now the name is line. Then my data name is line. So I have January to December data. So this is like a lengthier code. You need to understand very clearly the plot. So I have line. So if you type line, I'm giving here. My data name is line. If you keep star. So I want line data for temperature, not for the month. That's why I clicked here, temperature. Okay, so that's what here, and type B. The type B is the line. So the line, you see here, the line has a different types. That the line type I want B type. Line width, the 2 I want, and this is a line type. It's like that. There are different characters and the minimum level, X level, and color. Let me run this one. You can see here. So you got the month and temperature graph. So you can play around, like you can change different functions. So for example, this one, this is the, if you type 21, you can see the circle, my dot becomes circle now. And if you go here, you have to also type 21, because here you have circle dots and here you have square dot. So it will make confused. That's why you have to keep both side 21. So now it become both are same. So like this, you can make beautiful graphs in R, but it takes time. So thank you all.
Dr. Prabhu, can I have one question?
Yeah, please go ahead, sir.
Thank you for the same. Actually, I want to know whether these codes are available in after the training, is it so? Or we will get another way?
Hello?
Actually, I am interested to know the codes of that same, of this bar graph, GD plot. Hello?
Hello, sir.
Actually, I am interested to know about these codes, sir.
Sir, your voice is not audible, sir. Please loud.
Codes. These GD bio code.
Oh, code.
Plot.
Code you want?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir. Yes, sir.
all the codes I'm going to share. So I already shared my presentation to sir. So sir can share with you all.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for.
You will be getting the presentation.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
You please, if you have any question, please write it in the chat box, sir. Our next speaker is waiting, and Dr. Balakrishnan. And Dr. Balakrishnan.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Sir, this is
so
hello.
The next topic is bioinformatics in agriculture, and we have Dr. Yam Balakrishnan. Before that, I would like to thank Dr. Prabhu for excellent lecture, and this second time I'm hearing from you. First time at IIS, sir. Right?
Yes,
sir. We'll be having more lecture on this. Maybe one day, 2 hours may not be possible for this. Okay. So next time we will have a separate system, and then we can go for analysis demand. Okay, Prabhu.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Actually, sir, presenting a lot of data in single day, it's like a headache, sir. So go with bit by bit, it would be very easy for me.
Thank you, Dr.
Sir, please share your mail ID and phone number.
All will be there in the presentation. Yeah.
Sir, another thing, how to download SAS and ARC, this one programs, software.
SAS is paid version. You have to ask your institute. For example, ICAR, we have package. They come and install. Whereas others, I don't know. So you have to ask. But R is free. You can download R new version along with R tools. If you want to know, I can go and show where to download. I have 5 minutes.
Yeah, you can put it in the chat box, Dr. Prabhu. Okay. And let us go to the next lecture. I request Dr. Ganapati to please introduce Dr. Balakrishnan.
Yeah, yes, sir. So, good afternoon, everyone. Once again, I welcome all to this training program. And it is now a pleasure to invite our next speaker, Dr. Yam Balakrishnan. Dr. Yam Balakrishnan is a principal scientist and professor, Information and Communication Management Division at Naram, Hyderabad.
Dr.
Balakrishnan
Prabhu,
sir has completed his...
Unshare the presentation. Dr. Prabhu. You can unshare it. Your presentation is still visible. Yeah, thank you, sir. Go ahead, Dr. Ganapati.
Yeah. Balakrishnan sir has completed his master's in computer science, and he also has a doctorate in computer science, and also he has completed MBA. He has vast experience in database management and bioinformatic tools and applications. His area of interest include prediction modeling, artificial neural networks, genetic color algorithm and information systems, bioinformatics, computational biology, molecular modeling, genome sequencing, database mining, development of software and tools for bioinformatic applications and agrobiodiversity. So he has recently published a policy brief on artificial intelligence and Internet of Things implications for human resources in Indian NAS. And he has also recently organized a training on advanced bioinformatic tools and its application in agriculture. And he has 2 copyrights to his credit, one on agrobiodiversity knowledge management portal, and other one on e-learning module on Village Transact. And he has published a number of research publications. He has 71 research papers to his credit, apart from 30 book chapters. And he has also attended more than 100 seminar and symposium. And besides this, he has also developed several databases and softwares on various applications related to agriculture. So this is in brief about Dr. Yam Balakrishnan. Sir, I now invite you to give a brief presentation on bioinformatics and its applications in agriculture. So please, sir. Sir, you are muted.
Sir, please unmute, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your nice introduction, and very good evening to all. So now I will share my PPT, sir. It is visible, sir.
Yes, sir. It is coming. Yeah, now it has come, sir.
Okay. So today we are going to discuss about bioinformatics, because most of the scientists, you may be aware about bioinformatics, because why bioinformatics is more important, because nowadays everybody is talking about, even government of India also spent a lot of money for to create more awareness about bioinformatics in agriculture. Particularly, what are the things are there? So how to do it? Sir, 1 minute, sir. Madam. Madam, now we can do it, madam. Already it is the same directory ID, we can use it, because already we paid money and all. Now we can, anybody can use it. Yes, madam. Yes, madam. Earlier same ID, whatever ID you used to know. So bioinformatics, because bioinformatics, why, what is the need of bioinformatics? Why we are going to bioinformatics, and how data management? Because bioinformatics, we are having huge volume of information to manage. How to do it? How to data management? How to do it? All these things we are going to discuss now. So bioinformatics is nothing but it is one of the multidisciplinary, because it's a marriage between computer science and biology. We can tell that, because it is all the components. Just now you've seen that lecture R language. R language is, it is a very good tool for bioinformatics, because we can make a number of various type of graphs. We can do it with the help of bioinformatics R Studio. That so here it's not going next. Okay. So the bioinformatics, first it was coined by Pauline Hedwig. It is one of the lady. She only coined bioinformatics word, because earlier computational biology, all these things were there, but she only coined the word bioinformatics. So bioinformatics, what we are doing here? So we are doing here storing information. So what it is a component of information technology and mathematics and statistics. All the biological component, all are included in this. How we are going to store the information? Because, for example, all the data are huge volume of information. Even plant, comparing to human genome, plant genome is having more base pairs. So how to store it? Because we are NCBA, we are talking about NCBA, National Center for Biotechnology Information Center. It was started in 1988. So before that, there is no database, because for making a database, we have to actually, the Human Genome Project group, they want to make a database for keeping whatever the research they did. So for that, they want to make a database. In that, they made one, they plan to develop a database. For that, there are 1,000 volumes of 200 volumes of books, type of information, 200 volumes of information. Each volume contains 1,000 pages. So like that, for that, they want to keep all the information in the database format, so which will be useful in future generation. That's why now we are using all the database, public access databases are there. Biological databases are there. So easily we are taking information. If we go to NCBA, you'll get all the sequences, different type of sequence. Whether it is a nucleotide sequence, or it is a protein sequences, or it is a EST sequences, like that. All the informations are available there. So that time they planned, they want to conduct that. The Human Genome Project, they want to conduct this program. They calculated that how much amount is required. 13 years, 20 people, 5.4 billion people are required to make the databases. So it was too costly that time. Then they dropped that one. Later on, supercomputers, all these things has come. Now it is everything is possible here. So here we are storing the information. Databases are almost 1734 databases are available. Biological databases are available. What we are doing? We are storing information. Olden days, our grains, farmer produce, whatever farm produce are there, we are going to store in that this type of things. So that's why here what we are doing, we are storing the information to computers with the help of stacks, queues, and LIFO, BIFO, all these things are there. So we are storing the information and how fast we are retrieving the information. So this is a example storing, then retrieving information, how we are going to retrieve the information, and data analyzing the tools, how we are going to analyze the tools and all, we are going to do it. So for this, it is a multidisciplinary, it is a heart of the modern biology. Bioinformatics is called by heart of the modern biology. Why it is heart of the modern biology? Because everybody is required, not only for whether we can use for computer science people also work, biological people also work, everybody can work in this, statistics, all the things are there. It is a heart of modern biology. That's why the C only coined 1978 or 79, she made bioinformatics, biological informatics, because earlier informatics we used to tell, so she only coined bioinformatics. So the bioinformatics, what we are doing here, experimental data. We are taking the data from wet lab experiment. What are the wet lab experiment data we are taking? And from public database, data comes from experimental data as well as public databases like NCBI and UniProt, SUSProt, XPASI. So different type of databases are there. 1734 databases are there. RICE database is there. So like that we can take from the public database, we can select the sequences from public databases. The second one is from experimental through wet lab. So convert data into knowledge, generate new hypothesis knowledge. How it is data is converted into knowledge. It is and information management. How we are going to manage. So biology, the very big task is how we are going to data management. So how to manage the data we are keeping. Now we are talking about big data and all that social medias and all. So how the data are taken. So what are the bioinformatics doing? Predictions, protein interactions, gene annotations, so protein structure predictions, identifications, and gene expressions, next generation sequencing, genome annotations, structure discovery, then databases. So many things are it contains. It contains a word cloud from manuscript published by Bioinformatics in the 2014. It has taken from that. So binding sites, robust, all the components are including. So many things we can do through bioinformatics. So here, what is the aim of the bioinformatics? To organize a data in a way. So what is a data? You all are the scientists, you know that what is data? Data is a collection of informations. So keeping it is a raw fact or whatever it is there, data in a way, how to allow the researchers to access the existing information. Today, Google is there. How we are efficiently we are getting the information from the Google, because everything they kept in the database, because whatever data olden days we have to use offline databases, no online database. That time email and internet and all, it is difficult. So that time they have to keep data in the field record data, everything they will keep in the record register format. So offline, after that offline database has come, we can keep our records in the, so to how to organize the data in the way that allows researchers to access the existing information and to submit new entries as they produced, to develop tools and resources, bioinformatics tools. So now the number of tools are there. Like that, we can develop the tools, databases, state the analysis of the data. To use different tools to analyze the data and interpret the results in biological meaningful manner. So after bioinformatics comes, so we are seeing the research journals, publications and all. It is they are giving very good attractive pictures. Otherwise, we cannot see the protein structure. What is it? How docking studies are there? How that DNA structure. So it is very difficult to see that. But because of bioinformatics, we can visualize all the informations through bioinformatics tools. We are having a number of tools are there. So agricultural bioinformatics, crop. We are using crop, cereals, pulses, oil seeds, millets, vegetables, fruits. All the crops now we are applying. Animal science, because the bioinformatics initially they started with the medical field. Almost 100% they're using medical field for all the drug designing, all these things they are using. But here animals also we are using, and fish species, microbes, we are using microbes, fungi, virus, insect habits. So all the purpose we are using this bioinformatics. So main areas of the research in agriculture bioinformatics is database development and functional elements. How to develop the functional database for the functional software and tool development. Web applications. Now everything is web application. Now most of the things are coming in mobile-based applications, web-based applications, and mobile-based. Because why it is there? We can access the information from anywhere, any place. So online information systems, algorithm developments, machine learning approaches. Now we are talking about the AI, IoT applications, AI application, artificial intelligence, machine learning concepts, and deep learnings. We are talking about all these things for extracting information, data mining techniques, text mining. So text mining, we are using the review the literature search. We are using a text mining. These all are AI tools. Data mining, extracting information. Google, we are putting some information, keywords. How it is extract? Through the data mining concept. Data mining is nothing but it is one of the algorithm of the AI. We can extract the information from the other sources wherever it is there. So bioinformatics, we are using different applications, identify, explore existing data sources relevant to a wide range of plant species. These are the most common bioinformatics tools in BLAST, BLOT. The BLAST is a basic local alignment tool, because most of you know that. BLOT is another tool, that is the basic local alignment tool. So what is the difference between these two? So BLAST is if you give any type of sequence if you give, it will give some results. But BLOT, it is similar type of sequences only, it will give the results. If we give accurate, correct information, correct sequences, then only it is 200 times faster than the BLAST. The BLOT is another tool, so it is 200 times faster than the BLAST. So if it will accept only the accurate results, suppose accurate type of sequences only, it is there. Enzyme and other genome browsers we are using. Characters, seeking sequences using comparative and functional genomics approaches. Phylogenetic analysis using for why we are doing for cholesterol W, tea, coffee, and there are a number of tools are there. We can use it. Why you are how much whether it is a close relatives are closely relevant to the particular organisms, or so how it is distant variations, close distant or closely very close to that particular sequence matching or distant matching. How it is going to the genetic variations we are going to identify through the phylogenetics, define their needs, high throughput sequences. Solux of these all including process next generation sequencing data, including assembly and visualizations. We can visualize raw, small, so many tools are the bioinformatics tools, resulting develop the markers, SNP and SSR for suitable for the marker assisted breeding, design and deploy appropriate genomic and bioinformatics strategies for their own molecular plant breeding needs. So these are the things, different applications we are using for agriculture. So bioinformatics, what is bioinformatics data management? Because your topic is data management, how we are going to manage the data. So biological data come from all the fields of the biology in the many formats, different formats. An amount of biological data is exploding with the high throughput technologies. So it is a huge volume of base pairs are there. So very difficult to store it. How to store it? We are storing information. Then how to retrieve it? Sophisticated computational technologies. Efficient means for storing, searching, retrieving information. Powerful algorithms, statistical tools are required for data explorations. So how we are keeping information, how fast, everything fraction of second it is happening. So what type of algorithms you are using, how we are going to take we are storing information, how to retrieve information. So next, need for appropriate data management. So how to data analysis methods and endeavors to transform raw data into biological knowledge. What are the raw data, whatever we are giving, that will be converted into biological knowledge. So the bioinformatics, and it is a very big task because big challenges. So big challenges was there. So data management, initially big challenges. So this is the figure shows in 2000 and all the time. So integration in biology, how to integrate, how to data management, storing the information, huge volume of different type of crops are there, different type of animals are there. How to store, how to integrate all these things. how to integrate it. NCBI, how they integrated all the informations. If you go to NCBI data, National Center for Biotechnology Information Center, if you go there, all information is integrated to all the fields, making into single platforms. So it's a big challenge. How it is possible to biological data to keep in these things? So later on, it has come. So 2000, it was their data management, and here it is a data management is a 50%. Now it is 100%. It is data management. It is possible, and integration of the biology also. It is a very possible to do it. So bioinformatics data management cycle. How we are going to make a data management plan? Collect, create data. Where we are going to collect the data and create a data and process the data, then analyze the data, archives, because it is now everything is in the archives. So preserved data give to access to data. So if you are keeping information, we have to provide access to others to access the information, whether it is a paid one or free of cost. That we have to decide yourself. So discover and reuse the data. How to discover the new one and reuse the data. And suppose reuse the old data, how to do it. These things and all we can do through bioinformatics. So here the biological data types analysis of the genomics. We are talking about the genomics, transcriptomics, proteomics, metabolomics, imaging, microscopy images, MRI images, CT scans, picture extractions. So all are complicated. How we are going to cytometry, cell levels, cell phenotypes, cell phenotypes, cell populations, clustering, cell biomarker discoveries. These things are on system biology, all of the above, network analysis, causal reasoning, reverse causal reasoning, drug target predictions, regulatory networks, information flow, all these things are under coming the biological. Different type of data used in bioinformatics. What are the different type of data? Contextual data. What is the contextual data? Contextual data is it is a background data, background information. Suppose information about the samples, such as where and when they were collected. These are the contextual data. Metadata, provenance information and description of the machines and tools. So the data is suppose if you are characteristic of the biological resources by core informations included by name or something. So that are the called metadata. So raw data, input, intermediate analysis of data and output data. These are the informations we have different type of data we are going to use it. Data analysis workflow, sampling. We are collecting the sampling, samples from whether it is through wet lab, sequencing, isolation of DNA isolations, construction of the sequencing libraries, followed by sequencing using these small scale sequencing machines for high throughput machines. Data analysis generated reads analyzed by the appropriate pipelines, NGS pipelines, different appropriate pipeline wherever it is required. Next generation sequencing pipelines we are using, consisting of the sequence of tools. Data explorations, results of the data analysis interpreted by an analyst. Data archiving, how we are going to keep the data, old data, where we are going to keep data used in the analysis archived in repositories, including raw data as well as the metadata and the contextual data to be kept in the data analysis of these things. So now, so how it is working, because all these things are, we are talking about bioinformatics, all these things. So here, the cloud computing, have you heard about cloud computing? So cloud, wherever now we are, everywhere we are talking about AWS, Amazon Web Services. Another things are there. Suppose a number of VMware, everywhere they are giving some cloud storages, VMware, other organizations also they're giving cloud storages. So how to use it? So bioinformatics cloud, what is a cloud computing? Cloud computing is computing is the on demand availability of the computer system resources, especially data storage and computing power within the direct active management. So what is cloud computing? First you have to understand cloud computing is one of the computing technologies. So here what we can do, there are three things are there. Initially it was started software as a service. They will provide, they on rendering the services, we can rendering the services from others. So those who are the service providers, we can take data. Suppose data is required. So we can ask the data, they will provide the data. So where is the data? Data as a service. So software as a service. Tools, pipeline, suppose public data sets. Suppose public data sets you want. So biological databases from the biological databases, or you want to get it from other sources. So you want to make this software as a service means tools. What are the tools are required? Suppose sequence mapping, sequence alignment, assembly, NGS, chip sequencing data. So all these things are coming under software as a service. That is a tools and pipelines, NGS pipelines we are working. So PAS, platform as a service, analyzing the platforms, programming environment. Platform as a service means they are running server, different type of web servers. That is UOLSON, EOULSAN, UOLSON, Galaxy Cloud. These are the very good example for the platform as a service for the bioinformatics purpose they are using. Another one is infrastructure as a service, IaaS. It is infrastructure as a service. Virtual machines and virtualized resources. What is a virtual machine? So we can make virtual machines. Virtual machine is nothing but what is that? We have to install some softwares like VMware and VirtualBox. VirtualBox is there one software. So in your system, suppose if you want to change the operating system, if you want to operate Linux to Windows, Windows to Linux. So earlier what we do, we have to install two softwares. Suppose if you are running in Windows, Linux will not work. If you work in Linux, Windows will not work. But here, IaaS, infrastructure as a service, we can make our machine, physical machine, one small icon. If you install the software, VirtualBox, one software is a VirtualBox developed by Oracle. So if you install that one, so we can, the system can act as a, if you open that, whatever tools, whether it is most of the bioinformatics tools are work in the Linux-based platforms. So that's why whatever Windows, it is very limited tools are there for bioinformatics. So we can, so these three are the importance, because cloud computing, what they did, they started with the service as software, platform as a software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure means, so suppose you need systems, computers if you want, they will provide. So configurations of what configuration you want. Suppose if you are purchasing a computer, you are going to do some practical project. For the project, it is 5 years or 3 years. So for that, system is required. If instead of purchasing systems or servers, if you go for hiring a virtual machines, servers, because monthly you have to pay for that. It is like a hiring, rendering the services. The cloud environment people, Amazon Web Services, they are giving this one. Google, they are giving cloud services. So like that, S3, simple storage services, simple storage services. Like that, a number of things are there. They are providing the services. If you want computers, infrastructure means computers. Platform as analysis means here you are going to give some web services, web servers. We can host our informations. So for platform, so Linux, suppose virtual machines. If you want virtualized resources, Linux, one biological Linux, because Linux is one of the operating platforms. Linux. And CloVR, these are some of the example for IaaS, Internet Infrastructure as a Service. Okay, so these are some of the things why we are using. What is a virtual machines? Virtual machine is nothing but whatever it is a machine. Suppose if you are having some machine by your computer is there. Your computer is there. So for that virtual machine, suppose if you are going for pointer option, print and pointer option is not coming. Okay. So here that tools, whatever it is, the virtual machines. Virtual machines, if you are keeping virtualized machine, virtual machine means suppose one hardware, physical hardware, your computer is there. For example, your computer is there. So that computers, you can make what you have to do. You can keep your computer as a one physical machine. Then suppose your computer is having, suppose 8 GB RAM and 1 TB hard disk and 3.5 GHz speed, processor speed. So like that it is there. Suppose if you want to make like the same, you can make a number of virtual machines, the same physical hardware. One physical hardware means it is the computer is having hardware inside motherboard and RAM, ROM and other accessories. Okay, so hard disk So all are there. So same, we can make virtual machine. How we are making virtual machine? With the help of hypervisor. Hypervisor, we are making the supercomputers. 1 minute. Magesh. So that virtual machine we can make the same physical machine. We can install the software that is like a VMware. The pointer option is not coming here. Otherwise, I'll write it. VMware, VMWARE, VMware. That is a software. It is freely available. You can install into your system. You can make it. You can whatever software. It will act as a virtual machine. So it will ask virtual machine means same one physical machine. We can make n number of virtual machines. So that's why cloud computing, what they are doing. So one server will be there. The server will be for the different places. It will be there. Different places means same machine was a virtual server can be made. One single physical server will be there. It can be, we can make n number of virtual servers. So virtual space. That's why they're giving for more 256 TB for space for providing our data, storing the data, all these things. So like that, it is clear. Bioinformatics cloud. How bioinformatics what is it? Another one is a data as a science, a data as a service. Because what type of data is required, we can take the data from public data sets or biological data sets. So they will provide. Suppose if you ask some of the Google how they are extracting information, all the information they are taken from us. Then when we are going for asking the data, so we have to pay for that data as a service. Data as a service. So we have to from the biological databases or public data sets, wherever if information is available, we have to pay for that. So virtual machine here, cloud computing is main for the virtual machines. The virtual machines will act as a same physical hardware. Suppose virtual classrooms, and how they are making. One system will be there. Another every places dummy system will be there. Monitor and keyboard only. They can use it because the same hardware can be used as a virtual machine for the other persons. Virtually it will be stored. It will not disturb our original hard disk or whatever it is there. It will be stored in separate whatever virtual box. Another software is there. Virtual box. The virtual box, if you install the virtual box, it is developed by Oracle software company. So that also you can install. If you install to your system, a small icon used to come. That icon, if you click, means you can your system will act as a separate. That icon will act as a separate system for your system. It will not disturb your systems. Okay. So like that, the cloud computing. Because why I am talking about this much about cloud computing? The cloud computing is playing major role for the bioinformatics tools and softwares, bioinformatics data storage and all these things. So next is data management, because interactive viewer of genomic data and databases. So our languages are using big data. Now we are going to talk about big data. Big data is a large volume of structured and unstructured data. What is structured and unstructured data? So we are talking about structured data and unstructured data. The data will be whatever data we are sending now. Suppose, for example, you are the ARS scientist. You may be applied through online applications, or some students are applying through online for applications. We are giving online applications. So they are entering the details and all. They submitted the information to the systems. So that information, what we are making, it is a RDBMS, Relational Database Management System. RDBMS it is there. So we are making RDBMS, Relational Database Management System. In that again, it is a structured. Structure means, suppose for example, the application form, name of the candidate. Name of the candidate means we cannot enter the numbers. It will accept only characters. One box will be given, no name of the candidate box will be given. We have to fill up the form. A date of birth of the candidates, DOB, date of birth of this. So date of birth means it will accept only the data date format. It will not accept any characters or any other characters if you give, or any other numbers if you give, it won't accept it. It will accept. That means it is a predefined, it is structured. So only that particular information only to take, we can take it. If we give other information, it may not take. So that's why it is structured. But unstructured, now we are using social media. Social media and all, huge volume of information we are sending. WhatsApp, we are sending how much photographs, how much videos we are sending. So it is a huge volume of information. And unstructured, whatever you are giving to social media, it is accepting. So it is not rejecting. Suppose if it is a structured, means you have to follow the same, because then only it will accept it. Suppose text means text only it will accept. If it is a number, it means number only it will accept. If it is alphanumeric, then only both characters and numbers numerics it will accept it. So like that, biogenome internal data, parser, submission forms, talent, open studios, Oracle databases. Just now I told you VirtualBox, web interfaces, VMware, Windows or Internet Explorers. These web interfaces we are Google Chrome, all these things. So here the big data is how it is major playing, because huge volume of information. How it is possible, it is working. Now we are going to see about big data. What is big data? Big data already we have explained it. Big data is nothing but it is a collection of data that is huge in volume. Huge in volume means what? It is one of the computing technology, huge volume of information, because computer will understand only the binary codes. So that's why that binary codes, how we can make possibilities, because of that social medias all are working in the big data platforms. We are sending a huge volume of information where it is storing. So that's why big data is a small only. Big means it is not very big. Big data means huge volume of information we can store into particular these things. So here comparative scale of bytes. So you see 1 byte, basic of unit measurement, 1 page of text, 30 KB, kilobytes. So a piece of music, 5 MB, it is required megabytes. Suppose MP3 player, the using means MB, it is there. A 2-hour film, 1 GB, it is gigabytes. GB, 100 MB. So 6 million books, for example, 1 TB, data terabytes. 1 TB means terabytes, 100, 1000 GB is 1 terabytes. Stack of DVDs. DVD, because older now it is outdated. You know, there is no DVD. Olden days we used to store in that floppy disk. So after that, this CD has come. After that, DVD. Now it is a flash drive only. Where we are using 1 PB, petabytes. Petabytes means 1000 TB. 1000 TB is equal to 1 petabytes. So all the information generated through up to this one, it is exabytes. So we are in the terabytes only. We are not going to betabyte, etabytes, exabytes, and zettabytes, databytes. So like that it is going on. Storage capacity of the NSA network storage access data centers. It is 92,000 meters squared, 2013, 2011, 1 GB. But still we are using in our computers. It is we are talking about in supercomputing and all it is used. But our computers we are using till TB, 1 TB, 2 TB. It's server configuration will be petabytes, zettabytes, or exabytes. So that blue gene computers, for example, blue gene computers is a terabyte. Suppose if supercomputing, big data. So big data means there are 3 V's. What are the 3 V's? Varieties, velocities, and volume. So first one is the volume. 3 V's are there. Volume. Volume means huge volume of information we are storing into the system. Terabytes to zettabytes. How much information? Volumeless. There is no volume. You can increase n number. Huge volume of information into the big data platforms. Next one is velocity. So how we are putting all the informations. This much of suppose for example in your computer, can you able to open 1 GB file? Suppose 1 GB, the file size is 1 GB. Is it possible to open that 1 GB file? It will open in your system? It is not possible. It is not. It possibly it may take so much of time. When it will open, we don't know. But here we are using 1 TB, 1 TB. That big data platform 1 TB we can open, 1 TB file we can open in the systems. So here in velocity, we are keeping all the informations into systems. We are pulling to one place. So how to take, how fast it is informations are stored and retrieved, how informations are stored and retrieved from these things. So how it is possible. So this is another one is a variety of informations. Whether it is a structured, unstructured data we are keeping. It is a variety of information we are keeping. Unstructured means so you are sending you YouTube every 1 minute in big data with the big data platforms, every 1 minute, 500 hours video are uploaded in YouTube. 500 hours. 500 hours means how much volume? 500 hours videos is uploaded within 1 minute of time. So 2.6 million transactions happened in Walmart and Kmart. 2.6 million transactions, 2.6 million within 1 minute. So here it is a structured and unstructured information. So we are keeping variety of information. That's why it is called 3V: volume, velocity, and variety of information. That's why big data is called 3Vs. So data level in biological data, you see here data, different sources we are taking. The informations are coming here, various sources, experimental data, all this biological data level research. It is a derived data. This is the derived data, primary data of derived data. Then it will go to this form. We are taking data from the mouse. It is going to the experimental. So all the analysis after that primary data we are collecting. So primary data, derived data for doing the experiments we are keeping to these things and all in bioinformatics. Interpreted data, we are interpreting data knowledge, how we are getting the knowledge through everything is happening. Now we are talking about data science. Immediately we are getting information through with the help of artificial data science. Data science is nothing but it is another area which is used to, because of the data science only we are now we are dashboards. We are using dashboards. Immediately market price fluctuations. What is the stock exchange markets and then how it immediately it is displaying all the information to the dashboards. So we are using the data science. How we are getting the informations for data science through the data analytical data, everything fraction of seconds it is going on. So big data in biology, because it is keeping NGS viral genomes, you see 1 KB, 1 MB, 1 GB, 1 TB sampled from this, and NGB is bacterial genomes, NGS eukaryotics, pathogen genomics, human genomics, metagenomics, microarrays, RNA-seq, protein mass spectrums, protein 2D gels. So like that, MRI imaging, structure NMR, structure X-ray crystallography. So all these things, it is a very big everything combined with this. So already I told big data, volume, variety, value. It is a volume plus. This is so variety means it is a metadata. Metadata here, volume plus variety is a value. We are giving the value to this, and so NIAID, DMIAD, genomics programs. It's one of the project. So genomic research resources, genomic sequencing centers, various sequencing centers collecting information, functional genomics, proteomics, structural genomics, all components they are making into these things. Here, what they are doing, it is a National Institute of Allergy and Infected Diseases. It is an institute because they have collected information from this, and DMID means Division of Microbiology and Infectious Diseases. So like that, we are collecting information. So how it is working, all these things, the bioinformatics, huge volume of information. The bioinformatics resource centers, various resource centers, it is a vectorbase.com. So our complete vector base means that insect all these things, UPathDB, upathDB.org, pathogen portals, Patrick org, FluDB, influenza research database. So it is a brc.org. It is a virus pathogen resources. VIPR means virus pathogen resources. So like that, various informations we are getting, all are kept in. Suppose, for example, our NCBA is there. It is 24/7. They are updating information. Omics data management, how they are going to keep management. You see, different, how they are separate, keeping information. Everything is once if we are submitting sequence to the database, immediately we are getting how it is processed, how it is directly going, how efficiently they are managing the data management. So that is more important. Biosamples, cells, organisms, pathogen treatment, treated samples, assay, primary data, how data processing, then processed data matrix, data interpretation, biosets. So suppose it is assay 2, biosample cells are treated samples, primary data, so processed data like that. It is the project they have taken the data, how it is using. That influencer research database, if you want to do that, you get all informations, influencer segment, complete information about the data analysis in online, save to workbench, CLC workbench, like that workbench, all the information. It is comparative analysis for various things. It is possible. The structure predictions, suppose protein structure predictions, weaving the structures, all these things, everything is inbuilt in the flowdb.org. Flowdb.org. If you go there, you'll get all the information. So type of big data in bioinformatics: DNA, RNA, protein sequence or structure data, gene expressions data, protein interactions, pathway data, gene ontology, like that different type of data we are taking. A number of techniques have been used, developed to handle huge volume of biological data. That is continuously increasing the volume. So volume is more. That's why biological data, it is big data is more important and included. Big data is different from conventional tools and techniques because of the sustainable increase in the amount of data, because huge volume of data. So like that. So now you might be knowing that simple awareness of I'm going to give out what is a database. So database are a convenient system and to properly store such information, because bioinformatics database is more important, because already I told you 1734 databases are already available. So initially only NCB was there. We have to go to NCB for getting all the information. Now it is not like suppose anybody working in rice, somebody is working in maize. Directly we can go to maize database. Directly we can go to rice database. Directly we can go to animal database. So that type of information, no need to go to NCB. NCB is like it is a common, integrating common all the these things. For our agriculture scientists, you can go to specific databases. So what is a database means here, electronic filing systems. So how databases are there? The databases may be into table format. All the information will be stored in table format, and record, because fields and records, rows and columns. The table means always what is there? We are doing table means it contains rows and columns. The information will be stored in the rows and columns. The rows are called records. That is called nowadays it is tuple. We are calling tuples. And the fields, attributes, whatever attributes here, the columns are called attributes. So here the biological databases, structure database, PDB, protein data bank, scope, cath, these are the things. Sequence database, protein sequence, PAR, EMBL, nucleic acids, gene bank, DDBJ, EMBL, other rebase, GPCRD, DB. Okay, these are some of the databases already. It is there. How raw data process. It is there. Biological suppose store, search, display, execute, analyze, collect informations, exchange informations, and communicate the information. Useful meaning. Suppose here raw data we are taking. So after the process, remove unwanted contents, remove repeats, proper identifiers stored in dynamic files, Excel sheets, Access or RDBMS or ontology or MySQL, etc. So we are bringing to useful common information for this purpose. As I told, because 737 database was there. So here some of the databases already removed. It is the old data, now 1734 are there. So 120 every year, because if the databases are not uploaded properly, if we go to nucleic acid research, one journal is there. In that every year they are putting how many biological databases are added, how many biological databases are removed. Because why they are removing? Because they are not updating information properly. So that's why they are removing the database if you are not updating information. So the database means comprehensive database, accuracy, because information should be accuracy. It's up to date. Up to date information should be. It is a very good interface. Then only people can see. Batch search downloads, application programming interface, web services, dash. So these are the different type of things we can make in the database. So the databases starting from 1996 to up to 2020. So 20 up to 2019 it was 18 it was increased. 2019-20 it is declined. Some of the database because of proper update information is not there. That's why it is declined here. So classification of different databases already I have told. No, nucleotide, EMBL, gene bank, DDBJ, whole genome databases. Here protein means sequence, interaction, structure. These are the different type of databases. So here why that international advisory meeting collaborative, because EMBL, Gene Bank, and DDBJ, these three are collaborative tools. So if you go to EMBL, if you want to take search DDBJ website information, you will get it. Here Gene Bank, you are in USA, you want to get from EMBL information, you can do it. They made a online collaborative, made it because they are sharing the resources within these three databases only, not other database, only for EMBL, Gene Bank, and DDBJ. They are sharing the resources like this. So these are some of the bioinformatics databases, DDBJ, all these things you might be knowing. So again, biological database can be classified into generic databases and specific databases. For example, if you are going to our generic means NCBA, PDB protein data bank. If you are going for Gramine, Soul Genomics, it is a specific database. Gramine means it is only for cereal crops. Complete cereal crop information you will get it. Soul Genomics means it is a tomato, complete tomato information, so you will get it, Soul Genomics. So like that, so specific database, the databases are there. These are the generic database, NCBA, DNA, all these things are PLASA, NGML, plant GDP, plant genome database, phytosomes, plant DBs. So these are the generic database. All information will be there in that. If you want specific informations, specific databases are there. So what are the specific databases? So crop, suppose rice, separate databases. Maize, sorghum, wheat, tomato, potato, rapeseeds. Somebody is working rapeseeds means directly you can go to this database. No need to go to NCB and all these things. Soya bean, castor bean, so like that chickpea, somebody is working chickpea, sunflower, all are there. Specific databases are available. You can go to these things. So these are the resources for genome. Somebody is working in genome, somebody is working in transcriptome, somebody is working in proteomics, somebody is metabolomics. So here resources, what are the resources are available? Databases, plant GDP, phytosome, PLASA. So like the resources, non-coding, suppose somebody is working non-coding RNA. So NRDR, it is a database, it is available. Suppose somebody full length sequence, C complementary DNAs and express sequence tags, plant GDP, phytosome, NCBA, TBST. So like that specific, those who are working in this area, you can use this one. So the breeders source for genes, markers, orthologous pathways, QTLs, traits, those who are working in quality traits, ESTs. So complete information. So olden days we have to go to NCBA for doing small. Here itself all the tools are available. All the tools and informations are available. So Gramine, next Gramine is one of the tool here, gramine.org.in. It is for the rice database has information, barley, brachio, foxtails, millet, maize, oats, pale millet, wheat, rye and sorghums. These are the, after that later on they can add glycine, musa, solanum, brassica, arabidopsis. So they have been also included later on. This type of somebody is working in genomics, genetic diversity, pathways, molecular pathways, somebody is working, protein structure predictions, protein-protein interactions, somebody is working information, genes, ontologies, markers, comparative maps, genome mappings, QTLs, BLAST. We can do BLAST here itself. The tools all are available in the same databases. Next one is plant GDP. So plant GDP is another tool. We can get a database started with the form only 2 plant species, Arabidopsis and rice. Later on was published as a resource for comparative genomics across 14 plant species are available in this. You see here all information. Bioinformatics tools also available here. So no need to, you can download the sequence, you can do the BLAST or any analysis, data analysis, you can do it from here itself. So like that, phytosome, it is another tool. 25 plant genomes informations are required, available. Green file DB. It is also Arabidopsis thaliana and Oryza sativa. Oryza sativa, because Oryza sativa rice is having complete information. All information are for rice. So like that, 40 new genomes, phylum including rhodophytes, chlorophytes, mosses. This information is also available in this. So hog is another one, accelerating comparative genomics. Here also informations are available. Organism view, GOG BLAST, map, synthesis find, GEO, all the information. So that's the comparison of multiple genome regions using any algorithms, visualization of the results, all are possible here. PLASA is another tool for comparative genomics, resources centering genomic data from different genome sequence initiatives. It has integrated structural and functional annotations of 25 green plant species, which includes 9,09,850 genes are available in this. So MaizeDB, another thing is MaizeDB. So like that insect-based database is there. Complete insect information should be 12 million of sequences. More than 12 million of sequences are available for the insect base. So they can go directly. These are the molecular pathways. Those who are working in molecular pathways, that is MetaPsych, metabolic pathways databases. So here also there are 2,600 different organism informations pathways are available. So EcoPsych, ecological psych, it is another one. Complete information, biological psych, it is a 7,677 pathways genome databases tools are available in this. So this is a plant metabolic networks. Here everything is there. Suppose psych, solanase psych, Warasa psych, moss psych, crab psych, corn psych. So like that, all psychs are there. Cycles are there. Rice cycle, like this. Heg pathways, it is one of the important one. So this is also possible to do it. So that these are some of the databases useful for you that I told. So these many databases, how it is possible to, why I am discussing, how it is possible to do it. So now we are another component we are going for sequence analysis, genome sequences. How we are going to make the dot plus sequencing global alignment. There are two types of alignments, local alignment and global alignments. So how it is possible to make the sequences. So for this, how the sequences are coming in this. Here, if you go for BLAST and all, locus and accession number, and where it is their source, where it is their keywords, and reference, which journal it was published. All the complete details should be there. And last, it is the sequence. If you go and download the sequence, you have to go there, and this after greater than symbol, GA is then this is a G code of the particular gene. If you take protein sequences or it is nucleotide sequences or whatever AST sequences, whatever it is there. Sequence alignment, the pairwise sequence alignment, PSA and MSA is there. Multiple sequence alignment. Why we are doing this? So to comparing the sequences, how much it is similar. For that, we are going to sequence alignment we are doing, whether it is RNA or DNA, whatever. Compares two biological sequences, nucleic acids or protein, which reveals the similarity or homology between them. Global alignments with the complete sequences, suppose it is GC, the sequence, complete sequences it will take, and it will be matching with these things. So local alignment, particular segment only we are going to first subsequence alignment, particular place only we can take and we can align it. So the different type of tools we are using, T-BLAST and translated T-BLAST protein, all are available. Two different type of tools. This is important. Suppose somebody is working in for pairwise alignments. Align me. Suppose align me is the protein sequences. It is a type of protein and a nucleotide sequence protein sequences. Global alignments and local alignment. Both we can do. BLAST is another local alignment only we can do it. So J aligner, L align, M align. So different type of tools are there. If you are working already, you are working by mole. It is a by G by selections. It's only for global alignment. Reputer NL, Q align. So like that tools, it is for the pairwise PSA, pairwise alignment. We are going to multiple sequence alignment. Suppose more than 2 or 3, 4, 10, 15 sequences are you are going to do it. Then we have to go for multiple sequence alignment. That is PNG, base by base, all these things. Local alignment or global alignment, like that. It is a protein sequences or nucleotide sequences. These all are there. It is going on. Some other tools are there. Here, genome annotation tools. Suppose other tools, structural annotation tools are available. Annotation resources, GeneMark, Wise, Trail Express, GeneScan. These are the tools, and the websites also there. You can use these things. And phylogenetic, different type of tools are available for phylogenetic studies. So Asoka facilities, why I am telling this? Asoka is one of the supercomputing facilities established at our in IISRA. It is for all the agriculture universities, the complete NAR systems. They made it Asoka, that is Advanced Supercomputing Hub for Omics Knowledge in Agriculture. So the facilities was developed for keeping to every institute, every universities, they have to give some space, at least 256 TB. So we can submit, we can store our information, we can keep it. For that purpose, they have made it. So here, Asoka facilities, they have developed some tomato genome analysis work database, they made it. So they have published in very good journal, high impact journals. Complete microsatellite database, complete tomato microsatellite database is available in this. So this why I'm telling this, because we are having that supercomputing facilities at IISRA, and that can be used. Biocomputing portal is there, we can register and we can do it. But most of the time we also tried, we are remotely, we want to connect it, but it's not possible to do it. Instead of that, if anybody is interested to do some other things in supercomputing, JNU they are having SCF Bio, SCF, supercomputing facilities, bioinformatics, SCF Bio. SCF Bio is one of the tool. So we can go to that website. You can register, it is free of cost. There is no money, nothing. You can submit your sequences. They will do the analysis and the result will come to your email addresses. The main aim of this is CAB. This is for every institute, they would give some space, storage space for keeping our sequence, keeping our information. Instead of going to private, suppose AW, Amazon Web Service is there, S3 is there, simple storage system is there. So what is this one? So guarantee for the data. They can take our data, they can use our data. So that's why instead of that, we are planning to put our IISR, means it is possible to keep our data, our institute wise, and we can access remote access also to every institute to do all these things. But it is not possible now. They are not providing to. This is another expansive bioinformatics research portals. We are going to use for this purpose for all type of information are available. Galaxy is another one open source web-based platforms, but for data intensive biomedical research. Because here all the tools are those who are working NGS, next generation sequencing. So it is all information are available. You see NGS toolbox beta. So SAM tools, sequence alignment map, and BAM tools, post QC data. Here everything they can make it, cup merge, cup links, cup dip, all the information are available in this. The next is BioStar. So BioStar is another open forum. Suppose you are having any doubts, you can raise here, you can register it here, you can put your queries. So immediately within 1 day, you will get the results. Sometime 10-15 minutes, they can share. Anybody can answer. You can also answer to, suppose if you are, they're putting some questions, you can also give your answers. So it is a forum. BioStar is a forum. Not only forum, but we can use data also. We can RNA-seq informations, chip sequence, SNP, it is the assembly data. Tutorials, some tutorials, tools are available. So all you can learn from this. It is not only for, it is a forum, but it is, we can use some of the tools also in this. So that DBT, because you must be knowing, everybody is knowing, DBT was established in 1986 or 7 onwards. They started bioinformatics. So they want to create more awareness about bioinformatics and its application to all the people. But they made some 169 centers. They made it all over India. So even our agriculture universities and IRA we are having, and KU Kerala Agriculture Universities, and other even some of the institutes carry, and even IVRI. So most of our institutes are there. It is not only for ICAR and IA universities, but it is general to all the people, because they made DICs, Distributed Information Center, Sub-DIC, and Center of Excellence, COE. Center of Excellence is the Pune University, Indian Institute of Science, and JNAU, MKU Madurai, and the University of Pune, and IIT Delhi. These are the Center of Excellence. Wherever Center of Bose Institute Kolkata, they are having supercomputing facilities. Wherever center of excellence they developed, the supercomputing facilities there. So that also you can use it for that our data analysis and all. So they made a bioinformatics grid, separate grid for all these things.
Dr. Balakrishnan, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is there any centralized database for our ICR system? Maybe people can use it.
Sir,
Like
for ACRIP, they are made, sir. No, Krishi portal they are keeping, sir. ACRIP Krishi portal is there for that. Yes. For this, our bioinformatics, it is we don't have, sir, because already they made DBT. These are the mirror sites, sir, for keeping the data and all, because they made all supercomputing facilities. EMBL net, because EMBL means it is European Molecular Biology Lab, but India also they made it. It is in our CDFD, Center for DNA Fingerprinting, Hyderabad. So PDP, it is a protein data bank, IIC Bangalore, and Pune University they kept. So GDP, Genome Database, IIC Bangalore. This is EBI, European Biological Information Systems. So whatever they already it is there that databases are EMBL or it is a DDBJ database, DNA database from Japan or anything. Plant genome database, complete plant genome database. They are maintaining on separate supercomputing facilities in JNU. Public domain biotech chapters, IIM Tech, Chandigarh, it is there. So they are keeping information for our agriculture other than, but these all are common mirror sites for seeing this. But if we go for specific for agriculture, means we don't have any these things. IISRA they made, but actually that IISRA supercomputing facilities made for that purpose only, keeping all our data, sharing the data analysis and all these things. But they are not doing because they are asking our data and they want to do it, then they will publish the papers. So it is a bioinformatics is one of the in silico approach. In silico approach means it is a silicon. We are making silicon approach. It is a small silicon chips is made up of in computer, the processor. It is made up of silicon. That's why it's a in silico approach. So bioinformatics, whatever you are giving informations, so it will give in the results. Some result will come, but whether it is we have to compare the wet lab experiments throughout to the technology knowledge, then only it will be correct. We are comparing whenever we are doing some research. So we are comparing with the existing research or something like that. Here we are wet lab, original experiment, wherever we are doing, we have to compare with the bioinformatics, whatever tools, technologies we are using for doing the data, and it then only it will be knowledge. It is a good knowledge to these things. So Morse, according to Morse, he is one of the scientists. So every 18 months once the computer's processor speed is doubling the processor speed. So like that it is started from 4004 to 80, 86. It is a computers 82, 86, 386, 486 processor. So now we are using i3, i5, i7, i9 processor we are using. So like that every 18 months only, once it is the processor speed. It's a blue gene computers. So for example, blue gene computer means here the processor speed, whatever our computers we are using, no, that we are telling gigahertz. Processor speed is earlier it was kilohertz, megahertz, gigahertz, but it is a teraflops, gigaflops. Flops means it is a flops means that much very fast. The supercomputing processors are very fast. It is a petaflops. Where we have seen earlier, it is a petabytes, zettabytes, terabytes, and but here it is a flops, petaflops, teraflops, 2 teraflops, gigaflops. So like that it is there. So here, for example, the processor virtual machine storage, how we are storing 1 bit. It is, you might be knowing all these things. Your computer speed performance in supercomputing, 1 kiloflops means 10 to the power of 3. That much speed. Megaflops means 10 to the supercomputing speed is flops. It is not gigahertz or megahertz, kilohertz, because here it is a flops, gigaflops, petaflops, teraflops like that. So our Ashoka architecture, they made it 256 Linux server plus 16 GP general purpose CPU plus 16 Windows server plus SMP. So they made it because the clusters, complete clustering of the Linux based for giving to all the institute, giving spaces, different type of storages, head node for CMU, all these things they made it. Here how they So this is for a very good data management, how we are going to store the information and all these things. Each institute, they can give some space. So keeping the space, when how we are going to retrieve the information, storing and retrieve the information. So here, this one. So hardware configurations and all, how they are going to keep it in different ways, allele mining, all these things, and metagenomics. So they are going to keep it like this. So storage, because 250 TB of network attached storage, 250 of parallel file systems. So very good configuration we are giving, but they are not sharing to others. If we can also share, we can share our information, we can remotely access, we can conduct the programs, we can remotely access the supercomputer, means we can do any analysis from the National Agricultural Bioinformatics grid they are making. So apart from that, in this what we can do, because cloud services, so many cloud services are there. I told you cloud computing and all. So we can hiring the systems. So cloud 11 means per monthly 3,755 rupees you need to come. They are providing cloud services here. And bioinformatics cloud services. Suppose somebody is working bioinformatics cloud resources, it is there. So this is now I'm coming to data management. Agriculture data sources for our India. Farmers portal, 100 TB space is required. Research data, 200 TB. Bioinformatics, 300 TB data is required for every day. So remote sensing, 100 TB. Weather remote sensing data, 500 TB. Government departments, 10 TB data. We all are using. Communication and media, 200 TB. Agribusiness, 10 TB. Many new sources, features of above, 1500 TB is required for the variety, velocity, and data sets are large, so many things. This is required for agriculture big data. We are talking about public data sources, short-term weathers, long-term weather, climate, national soil database, digital elevation models, market information, regional data, national inventories, research models, and this integrated farm models, crop growth models, all informations are available. Private data inputs and inputs, machinery and labor availability, crop rotations, marketing strategies, private inventories, remote sensing images, input prices, yield maps, crop input maps, etc. So these are improving for farmer decisions, advanced research methods. So this big data, because big data is there, they are keeping. Big data, they're using only 2 algorithms. So big data is, I told you, for storing information and retrieving information. Storing information, what we are doing, one Hadoop, HDFS, Hadoop distributed information system, Hadoop distributed information system. So what this algorithm will do, all the information will be stored. So retrieve the information, MapReduce, another algorithm they're using, MapReduce algorithm for retrieving the information. So keep storing information and retrieving information very fast. It is going on. It is quickly. It is happening. All these things. So some of the things, genomics, we are talking about phenomics, environmics, proteomics, transcriptomics, biostatistics, we are big data, HPC, high performance computing, data management. So all it is there. Biological data, how we are keeping all the information, high competitive and challenging research areas, because it is a very complicated also. It's how to store the information, biological sequences and information, all these things here. So data life cycle, data productions, acquisitions, field trials, and genotyping, sequencing genomics, LIMS database, learning information management system, data retrieval, control, statistical analysis, building predictive models, all it is how much data is producing. So everywhere data is generated. All the data, how it is taking with the help of big data analysis. From a building purpose, how we are using biostatistics, bioanalysis, bioinformatics, DBs. So taking the discover associations, QTL information, how it is going to convert into DB, how it is stored in the DB. So NGS database, next generation sequencing and all these things, they're keeping huge volume of information. Computing challenges occurs in computers, sequences, different type of sequences, how it is going to store it in the information. De novo assembly algorithms for DNA data finds, reads whose sequence overlap and record those overlaps in this. How we are using terabytes of RAM and volume. Everywhere it is a big data, because without big data, we are using, now at present we are using SQL. Tomorrow that SAR is going to take SQL, structured query languages, MySQL and all. But in big data, we are using NoSQL or the alternative data stores. We are going to store the information in NoSQL. no structured query languages. Why structured query languages? To retrieve the information, store the information, put queries, to take the queries in the database. All these things it is required. So bioinformatics, it is a complex genetic information. It is coming from environment. It is coming from genotypic characters, phenotypic characters. All these things, how it is a various huge volume of information. How we are going to data processing tools getting more and more sophisticated. So that's why how it is going to do all these sequences and all these things. So these are the challenges in bioinformatics for these things. Next generation sequencing platforms have exponentially increased the rate of biological data generation in the last 2 years. For large genome database can occupy many terabytes, completing genome sequencing require months of computation on supercomputing. The supercomputer also different processor will be there. Each processor one task will be allotted. So it will take, depending upon the data size, base pairs, it will take run. Sometimes it will run 2 days, 3 days, depending upon the base pair size. So data accumulations, all these things, it is some of the problems. How improvement in computation infrastructures, because now it is almost we are having microbes and metagenomics, diverse microbial communities, microbiome in plant and intestinal tracts, animals and humans, big data analysis for microbiome populations. Exploration of metagenomic knowledge has only begun to explore our soil and water resources. So big data challenges in bioinformatics. The current era is beginning with look like the era of big data. So look like a term that refers to explosion of available information, which is by product by the digital revaluations. So our biomedical data by accumulating in computers, biomedical, because completely they're using medical, they're using, but nowadays we are using agriculture also. Almost all the information we are keeping in the bioinformatics we are using efficiently. NGS platforms, that is semiconductors or nanotechnology, have exponentially increased the rate of biological data generation for the last few years. First human database was $3 billion. The human genome project started, that time $3 billion project recurring over a decade of the 2002. So that project they made for each 13 years they have taken for complete the project. Now it is very simple. Challenges and solutions. The revolution, big data generations. Sorry. For storage and transfer of the security information, the security also more important, because big data, why everybody is using big data? It is only platform. If you develop the infrastructures, you can storage. There is no limit. All are open source. Tools, softwares are open source. All the whatever big data, even NCBI, they're using have been big data efforts in biomedical science in 88 itself. All the social medias, whatever social media, NCBI, that's why it is more flexible. We can keep huge volume of information. So like that for social medias, whether it is a Facebook, whether it is a WhatsApp, whether it is a LinkedIn, or any other these things, it is because it is a big data platform they are working. Why big data is required? It is cheaper, because once if infrastructure is required, powerful computers are required, but whatever tools and softwares they are using, that is all are open source tools and softwares are used. So these are some of the examples of companies and institutions that provides solutions to store, analysis, and visualize omics and clinical data with big data analysis. Apistry, BGI, Beijing Genomics Institute, CLC Bio, DNA Nexus, Genome International Corporation, GNS Healthcare, Foundation Medicines, Gnome, Next Bio. These are some of the tools they are using for this, some with the big data platforms. And in India also, we are having so many bioinformatics, top 10 bioinformatics companies working in bio-based, CLC Bio, Jubilant Life Science, Akimum Biosolutions, Sri Technologies. These are the leading companies working for the bioinformatics in India also. These are the open data source for bioinformatics. Suppose if Amazon Web Services, they are giving open data, you can download from here, open data sponsorship programs, and SourceForge.net app. Here, these two are freely available. You can download the data and all. You can try open data source for the bioinformatics purpose. These are the things I want to share because 1 hour. So Any doubts, please.
Thank you, sir. Now open for discussion. Maybe those who have questions, you can just clarify. So yes, it's a really the very nice compilation of all the database of national and global importance, especially for all biological sciences. I think you will not get even at a single go, you will not get all this compilation. Sir, can you able to share the slide, sir?
Sure, sir. I'll send it, sir. I'll share it. I'll share it.
I'll send to them.
Sir, I have a question regarding in informatics. No, all the databases regarding you have told so many websites and all.
Yes,
regarding
sir.
entomology, you have told one insect base.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Normally NCBI used to go and feed the scientific name or
Sir, NCBI, sir. Actually, I have 2-3 others also there. I have for insect, it is more are there, sir. Not only one. So more are there. I deleted some of things because I didn't keep it. If it is required, I'll send it.
Yeah. Please send me, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because we used to conduct bioinformatics training at NOM. Because entomologists, they suggested we need what are the databases available for entomology. That's why I have put more than 5 databases are available. I'll mail to you. I will send to Ilangovan, sir. He will. Otherwise, you can send a mail to me. I'll send it.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Because 1 hour they have given time now. That's why I didn't put all. This itself I have given more time. Yes, sir.
Very big topic, sir.
It's hands-on. If you open one by one, I think it will take even 3-4 days.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it?
Okay, thank you.
Any more clarification from participants?
I think everybody in going mood. I think it is 5:35 now, sir. So that's why
some are sitting in group, but few places. So okay. If you have any doubt, you can send me the question even tomorrow or day after tomorrow also. I get
yes, sir. We are ready to answer, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to give big data, how management efficiently we want to keep data analysis, data management, how it is doing. Big data and cloud computing itself, it is taking a lot of time, sir. Because I only put 1 or 2 slides only. I didn't show all these things. So then only they can completely how. Anyway, tomorrow we are going to teach about access and all these database. But this big data is NoSQL, all these things. It is a new one because now these are the unstructured databases used for the bioinformatics tools and software.
I think slowly now our council should develop a centralized database. I think it is a.
Yes, sir. Sir, we are now we are developing, sir. We are developing on common portal, common access for all our agriculture scientists, which are the tools are required. So we are making soon within 1 month we are going to launch it. So in that they can no need to go to any separate, sir. If you go to the site, whatever they require, all the tools, whatever the tools are required, they can directly go to the site. They can do it. Open repository also will do it, sir.
Exactly, sir. So whatever even the different institutes are doing, if that itself is compiled, I think it will become a huge database.
Yes, sir. Centralized, if we make it, sir, that our IISR is made for that purpose only, sir. That supercomputing facility, no, that is made for that only. So if it is they are allowing us, then it is we can make it, sir. Because we need.
I'm not seeing any such database there, but they are making. They are generally collect information from the scientist and put it there.
Sir, because they are not sharing also. We called them several times to here now for bioinformatics training for access, how to access remotely for this our supercomputing facilities for real data analysis. How we can directly submit the information and do it. But they are not coming. They could not. That particular person only we called here. They could not able to open here. They are not opening. They are asking simply you send your data. We will do analysis and will give. And they want credit for publications and all. They will publish it, all the papers.
Whatever data which is for the public domain, I think that has to be submitted there. What is wrong in it? So like PGR database is there now. NPPGR has done a wonderful PGR portal. Therein all passport data, characters data, evaluation, everything is available. I think similar to that. Why can't we save all our experimental data? including molecular, agromorphological characterization, even other than that, trials and even surveys. We make it, I think that itself.
Ready, 5 minutes. Class
so that itself a huge database. I think maybe NAM only should move to an idea like this. I think we can succeed in it.
Sir, from our side, we tried, sir, many things, but now we are planning, sir, we'll make all centralized database means it will be useful for our complete NAR system. So no need of maintaining all these things one place we keep. No, sir, it will be good for accessing, sharing the information also.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Balakrishnan.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Thank you, sir. I thank all the participants also for their active participation. Thank you.
You can send the PPT to me and I can share.
I am sending to you, sir. Now itself I am sending.
Thank you, sir.
You can share to them, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I thank both the speakers today, and really it was a nice beginning for the data management training program. And the whole day we discussed about analysis and the database and all. And tomorrow is the day for geospatial analysis, then DIVA package. So there we will be demonstrating how to map the passport data and how to relate passport data with characterization data and so on. Then afterwards, again, I'll be taking the class on Excel. So Excel is a beautiful database wherein even while entering data itself, I think you can make that database. It's complete database analysis, everything can be done through Excel. So that I'll be giving some of the important tips how to use Excel effectively for using as a database. So that part also I'll be taking tomorrow. So with this, today we are closing. I thank all the participants for even late sitting. I think some may be traveling and some may be, I think nobody is sleeping. Some may be traveling, some may be sitting, some may be taking snacks. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye.